Luke and I see I see Luke and Valerie already joined. So since there's 3 of us, I'm gonna see if we could start off, guys, because it's about 3.5 to 4 hour meeting right now, at least. So I'm gonna try to make sure that we move it along expeditious. So I do have something that I think that we need to after number 5, where it says reading and adoption of resolution, creating the SAFE task force, we might have to add number 6, which we had originally discussed that we're going to be talking about appointing members to the task force so that they could join the first meeting tomorrow. So that's something that it was not on the agenda that we might have to add. Okay. All right. All right. So let me call the meeting to order so that we could start moving on it. And Luke, if you could do me a favor, start reading it until Jerry gets here.
Yep, I can start reading it.
So let me call it to order first. Wait. So I'm calling to order agenda special legislative meeting of the mayor and council for the city of Mount Rainier, Tuesday, March 21st. This is a virtual meeting. Luke Chesek. Here, Luke. I don't think Luke could hear us.
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay,
one call to
Valerie
order.
Woodall?
I'm here.
All right, perfect. Luke, can you please lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance? We do have 2 members, so we're gonna start, and then the other 2 members will join. Go ahead, Luke. You can lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We move on to item number 2, review of the agenda. This is 5 minutes. Mayor and council review the agenda for the meeting, adding or deleting topics of interest or discussions. And Luke will go ahead and read this section of the agenda. We do have 3 meetings, a special legislative, a work session, and a closed session for today. Go ahead, Luke.
1, call to order. 2, review the agenda. 3, public comment. 4, second reading and adoption of Ordinance 03/2023, rent stabilization. 5, second reading and adoption of Resolution 1/2023, Safe Street Task Force. 6, adjournment.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Jimmy did alert us that he was going to be making it a little bit late. And he did text us to let us know that. And Jared is on his virtual way as well. All right. So what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to add appointment of the task force to this legislative session? Or what's your feeling, council? This is Luke, Valerie.
I can.
Luke, go ahead.
I'm comfortable adding, but I want to put it at the end, right after the number 5, after we create the task force. Probably makes sense to do it after that, after we actually have the task force.
Yeah, that's a suggestion. I'd ask the new number 6 right before adjournment. Oh, right before we recess. My apology, because we might have to come back from recess. Valerie, where are you at?
Yeah, that sounds fine to me. Thank you.
Okay. So Melissa, can you go ahead and add a new number 6, which would be appointments of members of the community to the task force? Okay, make a note that both Jimmy and Jared are here as well. Okay, and Jimmy and Jared, we are adding the new number 6, which is appointment of members key members to the task force, to the agenda, okay? That's we missed it, and that is one of the things we had agreed to add to this meeting. All right, we're good. So can I get a motion to add?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you so much. Any additional discussion? Objections, abstentions? All right, hearing none, that will be the new item number 6. Council, I am gonna ask all of us to please stick to our first round, 3 minutes or under, just to make sure that we're keeping with time. As the meeting stands, it's about a 4-hour meeting. So be aware, okay? All right, moving on to item number 3, public comment. If you have a member of the public that wishes to speak on the agenda on an item that is not on the agenda, ideally, you could speak here. If not, we ask that you hold your peace for the item of the agenda. If you're an individual, you get 3 minutes to speak. If you are representing a group and a collective, you have 5 minutes. And the members of your committee or group cede their time to you. So you definitely have to let us know you're speaking on behalf of a collective. And usually we ask that you let us know that that's the case. So that way, if any other member wishes to speak, they resend their time. All right, so saying that, is there any member of the public that wishes to speak on the public hearing? Please type your name, last name, block and street number on the chat and let us know that you would like to speak. And if you're on Facebook, I guess type your comment and our team will let us know that you like to speak on this item. Anything on Facebook?
No comments on Facebook.
All right, thank you so much. And I see no comments on the chat. So we are gonna move into item number 4, the second reading and adoption of Ordinance 03-2023 rent stabilization. This is a 10-minute discussion. We had our first reading, and basically this establishing what CPI area we're gonna be using, just to add a little bit more clarity. That's the only thing we did. Can you move it out to the space that we right there, freeze. So it reads, it means 60% of the annual increase in the consumer price index, CPI-U, for the Silver Spring, Rockville, Frederick area, multiplied by the rent charge in the last calendar year preceding the proposed increase, or if the unit is vacant but was previously rented 60% of the annual increase in the CPI-U, multiplied by the rent that could have been charged had the unit been occupied in the preceding calendar year. The city should publicize the rent stabilization allowance on its website. So that's basically it. Council, do you guys have anything to add to this? Or you guys want to move to make a motion and discussion? What would you guys like to do?
I'd just like to make a comment.
Go
Just
ahead,
that
Jimmy.
the change was the fact that previously we just call it the CPI. We didn't talk about the increase in the CPI. And there was one question that came today, and this kind of clarifies it, that when the calendar CPI is released for the previous calendar year, that becomes the cap for the whole rest of the year until the next calendar year. Because I know somebody asked today, if it's like, if somebody is looking for a rent increase in April, it's not the increase from March, the previous March, it's whatever the increase was in 2022. And then that's good for until the 2023 CPI is figured out, increase in the CPI is figured out. And this year it was 6.5%. So the increase allowable would be 3.9%. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Luke, since you're good, thumbs up if you're good. Jared? Good, or you need to ask something, you could do thumbs up. Valerie, I cannot see you. Are you good? Also, can I have a motion?
Good, thank you.
Thank you so much. Can I have a motion to approve the amendment on the second reading?
So moved.
Second.
It's been probably moved and second. Is there any additional discussion on this item? I definitely, I am gonna be writing to you guys an email, because as we're working where the emergency for PG lands, it will start on April 17th. So there have been questions on whether we're gonna pause ours in order to fall into the emergency, as it will also give time for our team to work on the administrative end, and that we could start the portion of the charging of the fees in January. So that way I will move forward. So I will be sending that email to you guys, copying legal, so that way we're able to amend anything we need to as the emergency ordinance falls on the 17th. So that's something to I need you guys to be aware that I'll be sending. Okay. Okay. All right. So any abstentions? Objections? Hearing none, the amendment for the second reading has passed. Melissa, can you make sure that the communication team, how do you call it, has it all together, so that way when it goes up on the website, it's accessible for people if they need to see it with the revision itself. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Moving on to item number 6. Oh, so sorry. Item number 5. Thank you, Melissa. Item number 5, we are going to be having the second reading of Adjournment Resolution number 01-2023, creating the Safe Street Task Force and directing the creation of a Vision Safe Street Plan. And Mayor and Council will have a discussion. We'll have a second reading, adoption of the resolution. Can you put the resolution up, Melissa? And following this, we'll be making the appointments for the residents. So basically, we're gonna create a task force to address all this beautiful warehouse that you see here. We all know that traffic safety is among the deadliest causes of death injury within the United States, in the state of Maryland, right? And this task force is important because we need to make sure we protect our walkers as we continue to make sure we have a walkable, bikeable city. And keep going. So basically, a couple of the things that we needed to work on was who will compose the group. And that right there. Thank you so much. So it says the City Council hereby creates a Safe Street Task Force, which should consist of the CM, Chief of Police, Director of Public Works. What was added was Director of Code Compliance, the city's grant writer. I have an issue with the next sentence, and we'll edit that one, because originally we had asked for it to be the city's mayor and council, because I didn't like the way it read. A representative of the city's green team and 2 additional persons appointed by the city council from time to time. In making its appointment, the city should endeavor to secure participants from representatives of city schools, the Maryland State Highway Administration, Prince George's County, the Department of Transportation, and other persons who have take in reducing accidents on city streets. The Safe Street Task Force will work with the city manager and the city consultants to create the Vision Zero Action Plan to be presented to the city council for approval. Okay, so a couple things. One is I think the city manager has sent an email saying that he suggested the green team was added. Kamal, is that correct?
No, I was suggesting to add the tree commission.
Oh, sorry, the tree commission.
Yes.
So, I need I need to know what you guys think about that one. The other one, I am gonna edit it. I am gonna ask the edit to be back to put members of the mayor and council instead of like the city's elected officials. That's a minor change and it could be done. It does not negate anything. It is a task force and we could add whoever we want to it. So that would be my other ask. The other thing right now we have 4 people that have applied. I'll get you back right now, Luke. There are 4 people that have applied, including somebody from the tree commission, including somebody that is currently president of the PTO. Just be aware. So if the green team is added to this list, I guess by default, the green team decides who they appoint within their committee to the task force. It's not how do you call it? Wouldn't be necessarily us, but so even for the a representative for the city green team, usually what we've done in the past, the green team will meet or the committee will meet and they will assign who from their committee will represent the team. Usually it's the chair, but it's not limited to the chair, but it's usually their decision to make. So we are basically putting the titles of the people and not the persons themselves. That's the reason why it has titles on it, not necessarily X person name on it for that particular reason. But that is something that you guys need to consider on whether or not you would like to add the suggestions for the tree commission, right? And whether or not you want to change the 2 to a 3 or keep it as a 2. So that's something that you guys need to decide. So I just wanted to make sure that's the only change, Melissa. You go all the way down. There's nothing else that was changed, right?
No, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So that's a fair reading of what was edited and what we need to discuss. Everything else stays exactly the same. Okay, so just for the quick. So Luke, I'm gonna go first with you, followed by Jared, Valerie, and Jimmy. Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I think the reason why we went with 2 of the city's elected officials was because to say 2 of the mayor and council was conflicted with our city charter. It's just, the mayor is just a part of the city council, just a member of the city council. So to make it consistent with the city charter, you would just say 2 of the city council if you wanted to word it that way. To get around that, because I know that's confusing, that sounds like you're not including the mayor and the city council because people don't know that the mayor is just a member of the city council. That we just do 2 of the city's elected officials, I think threads that needle.
Jared, go ahead.
Yeah, that feels reasonable to me. I think we're just kind of dance around semantics. I want to, obviously the 2 folks that we appoint is inclusive, should and is inclusive of the mayor and city council members. So, and then just more broadly, this is I feel good about representative from the green team and 2 additional folks appointed. And I just also want to reflect to folks listening, this is something we're putting together. The directionality of this is intended, this is not the only be all end all of like feedback on street safety and pedestrian safety and traffic safety. It's specifically oriented around making sure we have a committee in place that serves as input when we're chasing funding, specifically funding from the federal government, which is the Safe Streets for All funding that DOT will release later this year. And then when it closes in the fall, then it won't open up again until next year. So, we have a limited window. We want to make sure that we have something ready to be responsive. So I just wanted to, for folks listening, kind of wondering again what this is kind of specifically targeted around the specific grant opportunity that we want to chase later this year. And we want to kind of execute on, be able to execute on quickly in terms of chasing the grant opportunity. So thank you. That's it.
So you're suggesting to leave it as is, okay? Whatever. Valerie?
Hey, yeah, thank you. I think this is, I'm glad to see this happening. For one thing, I want to make sure we can get that federal funding. And I'm also okay with leaving it as is. Thank you.
Jimmy?
So I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my computer. My computer died. I'm using another computer, so it's hard. I don't really care. I mean, if it's fine as is, it's the same meaning. If it's more work to change it, then just let's, keep it as is. So I'm fine with keeping it as. I wouldn't mind changing either, but it's, seems like it doesn't really make a difference.
Thank you. So you guys still, I'm not even certain if you guys even heard half of the question I posed. The city manager has suggested for the tree commission to be added. And I'm assuming you guys are saying no to leave it as is. And if that's one of the questions. So let me line it up for you guys so that way you guys are in the same broadband. So one, the city manager had originally requested if we could add the tree commission as part of one of the body members of the committee, right? So I need to know if you guys are up or down voting it, up or down adding it, so that way we could get clarity on it, because I did tell them that we were going to discuss it here. So I want to make sure I honor my word to Mr. Kamali, right? Number two is like, if you're going to leave it with the 2 members only, and was the number 3 was whether we change it to, like, I would like to change it to what originally was, because I guess one person mentioned it got changed. This is definitely not Councilmember Strong for manager neither. But if you guys decide to do it like that, it's fine. But I will tell you this, if you guys are using the charter for a reason, the charter says various things and does not negates one or the other. But I'm okay with it. Now I want to be part of the committee. So in saying that, I need to know from you guys, do you guys want to add the tree commission, right, Mr. Kamali? The tree commission to be part of the task force, yes or no?
I'm fine with
Yes,
changing it to adding the tree commission, and if May you feel strongly about it, so if we're making the change, we could make the other change too. I looked at the emails from the attorney, and she seems to say it doesn't make a difference. So we can make both changes.
Okay, so Jimmy, you're good with adding the tree commission and changing to the other one. Valerie, where are you with the tree commission and anything else?
Yeah, I'm good with I'm sorry, I missed the first part. Yes, I'm good with the tree commission being added. I don't, if it doesn't really make a difference, then, I think it's fine to leave it as is with just city council. I think that's fine.
Okay, Jared, are you gonna add the tree commission to it, yes or no?
Yeah, apologies, Selena, I maybe misunderstood the original 3 questions. Yeah, I'm fine with the tree commission. And agnostic on the how we handle the text, as long as it's inclusive of everyone, mayor and the 4 city council members. And sorry, was there a third question?
If you want to keep the number as 2 or not.
2 is fine. Yep.
Okay, fine. I just want to make sure I didn't dismiss Kamali's request as well. Luke, where are you with the tree commission, the number, and anything else?
I'm good with the tree commission, adding that 1. If folks think the city attorney's fine either way, I don't care what the language thinks. I just wanted to make sure that it's any 2 of us 5, mayor and council together, any 2 of us 5. And then good with the tree commission addition. And then I'd want to keep it at 2.
Okay, so let me reiterate it back. Tree commission is in. So Mr. Kamali, tree commission is going to be in. Okay, Melissa, can you make that addition to it? All right, thank you. Thank you for the suggestions for making sure we put that in. The other one is keeping it at 2 community members, correct? And since it doesn't matter either way, some of you guys are okay with it, I would like to put mayor and council to it. It's, you know what, the thing is, to me, it's like, I think some of you guys need to understand, it's not, when Miles was here, I will I will advocate for that. And when I'm far away and gone, having vacations in a faraway land, I definitely want to make sure whoever's in that position is also added to things like that, because if it's the reality is like what is being asked for mayors is not the same as being asked for council members. We push our mayors to do a lot more, and I know I've been on the other side with you guys, so I know exactly how it feels. Being a council member, going, what are you talking about? It's a lot of work. Anyway, so okay, so that will be, so Mr. Kamali, for the next steps, right after we vote on it, can you please, if you haven't already done so, notify the tree commission, the green team, that they have each an appointed member to the board, and if you haven't already done so, so that way they could like for the meeting tomorrow and following meetings, so they could be incorporated. Ask them who they're gonna select to be part of the team, right? And they usually will make the decision, so that way it's democratic among them. Okay.
Yes, we'll do.
And
We'll do. Thank you.
keep in mind that we are appointing 2 people on the next point, okay, council? Because we have 4 applications, so just FYI, okay? We're good? Okay. All right, so thank you, Melissa. So you could make the edits after. Okay, so there was a motion on the floor. I'll make a motion on the floor to approve, he put it to the front. I said, thank you so much. Resolution 01-2023 with the amendments.
So moved.
Seconded.
It's been probably moved and second. Any additional discussion? Anything from the public? Oh, hold on, I have 3 little lights moving through. Oh, thank you, Melissa. I'm sorry. Any objections? Abstentions? Hearing none, the task force has been approved. Okay. Melissa, I'm gonna have you like put it in lights so I see the times up a little bit better. Okay, my apologies, in capital letters. So now we're gonna move on to the appointment of members of the Vision Safe Street Task Force. The mayor and council will appoint the members to the task force. So this is just for the community members to be more specific. And then we'll figure out which of us is. But right now, I think everybody else, they go by their title, or city manager. Yes, our city manager, finance grant, and everybody else is going for their title, so we don't need to appoint them. Kamali, you'll take care of all of them. And I did notice that went out from Bill, I believe, sending a reminder to the team when the task force is. So the team has been alerted as far as staff is, when the meeting is going to take place. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Melissa, can you put the names up of the community members that were on it? Okay, guys. So there were 4 members of the community that requested to be part of the Vision Zero Task Force. That is Alex. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Alexander, you're gonna kill me. Colson. Luke.
Alexander Kozin.
I got close.
Very
All right.
close. I thought it was good.
I was there. Timothy Mayer and Gabriel Poppin and Matt Butner. I need to work on pronunciation of names. Okay, so these are the 4 members. You guys got a link sent to you guys with their applications as well as their resume. Correct? As part of the agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
So I need to hear from you guys how you guys like to proceed in nominating the members of the community. As a reminder, there is 2, and the tree commission was added to the list. You do have 1 member that's part of the tree commission, if that makes life a little bit easier for you guys. So just so you know.
Mayor.
All right, Luke, I see your mic open. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. If you were referring to Gabe, he is no longer a member of the tree commission. He quit last year.
That's
because of
true.
other things, so he has not been a member.
Okay, so that does not solve our problem. All right, so we have 4 outstanding candidates that have been highly involved in the community. So this is not gonna be, I told you guys if you guys wanted to increase it to 4, but you guys didn't listen to me. I need to hear from you guys what you guys want to do. Do you guys wanna are any of the members here? So we need to see if any of them are here because we just added this last moment. Who's here? I do
Matt.
see Matt here. Who else is here?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Matt. We'll go ahead and give you a minute since you're here to tell us why are you interested in joining the task force?
Okay, yeah, sure. This is coincidental. I just logged on, but yeah, so I have a background in policy analysis, and before moving here, I was in Brooklyn, New York, and I was working for a think tank at NYU, and we put out a report on market failures in the transportation sector. So I've done a little bit of thinking about this. I don't think about it currently, but I think it's something that's interesting.
Okay, thank you so much. And I know we got emails from Gabe and Tim and Alex as well too. We all got emails from them as well about them applying. So you guys all heard. So I see you guys like focusing on your screen, and I'm wondering if you're doing a read through of what it looks like in front. So council, I need to know how would you guys like to proceed? Do you guys, I'm thinking you guys want to go back to a resolution, huh? And change numbers around. It's a lot easier. All right, so I told you guys, you want to change it to 4, you didn't listen to me. All right, Luke, go ahead.
Well, I would just say, even though Gabe's not a member of the tree commission, he has shown up to a few green team events, including partnering with us on the last street cleanup that we did. So Gabe could be an appointment from the green team because the only green team member you have is Sarah as the chair. So I think we could make Gabe an appointee from the green team. I think Sarah would be comfortable with that. I think Gabe being on the committee is really important. From the very start of this, he helped Jarrett and me with kind of the idea for this whole project. And so I think it's important to have him on there. I think he'll bring just a good perspective as a biker and somebody who's thought a lot about this. So that's my opinion on Gabe. Is that maybe we could have him be the green team person. So that would take care of that. So you still have 2 more. I think Alex is, he's been on a city committee before. He's been on the Arts Commission. He no longer is. So I think he understands how city committees function. I think he has a lot of good perspective on the area near Bunker Hill behind Glut, that 35th, 36th, 37th Street area that I think needs a lot of attention and has a lot of very specific issues that are different than safety issues that are different from maybe other neighborhoods. I shouldn't say we're all in one neighborhood, but there are kind of these little distinct areas in Mount Rainier that have their own distinct problems. So I think Alex would be a good fit. With Tim there, I'm a little nervous about that. Valerie, no offense, with like the having 2 people so connected there in that appearance. But open to discussion there. And Matt, love that you're here, Matt, and that you raised your hand and that you've thought about things in this space before. That could be a good option. So again, so my recommendation would be Gabe as the green team person. And then you could have Alex. I would like Alex to be one of the residents, and I'm open to discussion on the others. And that's my 2 cents.
So question for you guys. Melissa, can you do me a favor? Can you write what ward they represent? Maybe that in case that, oh no, I could see 221. And Matt, do you know what ward you represent?
I think it's Ward 2. It's the one with Valerie.
You're in
it's
Ward 2.
2.
Yep.
So Alex right now will be the only one in Ward 1. So
Yeah,
I need to
he'd be
make
good to
sure
have.
we balance it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like where you're going, where, more or less like where we're at. All right, Valerie, I see you're next, and I'm gonna go Jared, then Jimmy. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Matt, for being here and for putting your hand up as well. I think that's really important. So thank you. I agree with you, Luke. I would love for the PTO to be involved in this as some way, because I think the PTO is kind of where there's been a push for traffic safety to some extent. But at the same point, I think it's worth having Alex, Matt, and Gabe as the green team lead. And then, as things progress in terms of getting this task force moving and getting plans out the door, I think briefing the PTOs, both of them, would be a really good strategic move. Thank you.
Okay, Jared?
Yep. No, Luke, I like your thinking on this. Matt, first of all, thank you for coming up and showing up to the meeting tonight. And I like the idea that you're from Ward 2 on the western side of the city. Alex has been really outspoken in terms of and forward in terms of feedback on traffic safety at various meetings. And Luke, thanks for the note. I didn't know he had served on the Arts Commission for us, so it's great to have someone that brings experience in as well. And I share the, and again, no offense intended, Valerie, I share kind of the same note that, Luke made about Tim. So I like the idea of, Gabe's already able to be representing the green team. And then, we have two folks that kind of represent different parts of the city from the overall pool. Thanks.
Okay, Jimmy?
I don't have a strong opinion on this. What Luke says made sense.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy. So I'll tell you guys where I'm at. I will say yes to Alex because he's only the representative for Ward 1 that's there to try to balance it out a little bit, right? I think Gabriel, part of the green team? Luke, yes? As the green team should be fine, and he was chair previously to that, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think Sarah's gonna have a problem appointing, and she's definitely I don't see a problem with this. So that's 2. That resolution does talk about the PTOs being members of it anyways. So we will have to talk to the both PTOs presidents to join them if they can. So if you guys go back to the ordinance, it does mention the PTOs as groups that they're going to be called upon to have input on this task force as well. Correct, Melissa? Or which of you guys is
Yes.
if you guys, can you go back to a resolution to who creates the task force, Melissa? So I think we might have a way to get all 4 of them in there, right there. See? Says, as the city will endure to secure participation from representatives from the city schools and blah, blah, blah. So the city schools will be like the PTOs, so the schools themselves. All right. So, Matt, thank you so much for being here tonight. And to be fair, we didn't give warning to the other members to be here, but they all have reached out to us about their will to be on it. So far, it sounds like we all agree for Gabe to be the representative for the green team, correct? Yes, counsel? All right. So the other one we talked about, I think we're all in agreement with Alex, correct? So that leaves one position, that'll be Matt or Tim. So I think that I would say add Matt because by default, Tim being the PTO president will be working in conjunction with the group when it comes to this task force. Okay, so we technically could have it all. All right. So I definitely will say reach out to the PTO president so that way, and Thomas Stone, so that way she is aware. I don't know if this if this was in her radar, so that way she's also informed. So in case they want to join, if she wants to join the meeting, she's welcome to. I know they have a lot to say also when it comes to the whole entire area. And Thomas Stone does cover heavily the apartment areas over the bridge and the surrounding areas. And right now, I don't think we have no representation on that side of the city as well. All right. So this will more or less leaving it. All right. So Mr. Kamali, any clarity on what we just said?
I'm good. That's fine. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right. So Matt, thank you so much. And welcome to the committee. Okay. All right. So So are we looking forward to the path forwards, everybody? Gabe as the Green Team representative, Alex and Matt as the community, then Tim will be with the PTO, and then we'll ask the PTO president to join from Thomas Stone as well, okay? Yes, Luke.
I was just gonna say, does Bill have all these people's email addresses so he can email them and get them the invite to the meeting that's coming up?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay, great.
Yeah. If not, how do you call it? I know communications does have them because they have access to the whole email blast, so they'll work in coordination. So at this point, I'll say leave it for Kamali and his team to get everybody together to move forward on applying. So I did see an email, so we just to add them on so that way they know. All right, council. So I need to know who wants to be part of this task force. Well, don't you all run at once. Don't trip all over yourself.
Me.
Jared, Luke, Valerie. I know you're smiling, Jared. You got us into
sorry.
this mess, so like I don't think you have much of an option.
We're gonna get us some big federal dollars. So I'm happy to step up, and you know how important this topic is to me.
All right, thank you. Where are you, Luke?
I mean, I would love to be on it, but if Mayor, you would want to be on it. If you have a strong preference, then I can step aside.
Valerie?
I mean, pedestrian safety is near and dear to my heart, but I defer to you and Luke, and that's fine by me. Thank you.
You guys are too funny. You guys are too funny. Now all of you guys want to be on it. Okay, Jimmy, where are you at? I don't hear Jimmy. I see Jimmy in two different screens. Okay, so guys.
Yeah, I'm a
Where are you?
mayor. I mean, people have asked you if you want to be on it.
Look, I will stand by what originally I said. I want the name there because I don't want to take the opportunity for whoever is mayor in the future, right? They do this again. But I will be back up to any of you guys. I would like for any of you guys to step up because the reality is like
I'll do it.
my play is ridiculously full. If you guys need me, you guys could call upon me, and you guys are going to be reporting, and you guys are going to send us the information. That's fine.
The answer
But
is
I'll step back
no.
in order to have one of you guys step up, okay?
I'll do it happily.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm very passionate about this.
So you guys, okay? So Jimmy, you're stepping out as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's silly for me to do it.
Jimmy's gonna be like, I'm part of the tree commission. I will see you guys in June. Okay, so let's do this for right now. Okay, guys. So there, three of you guys want to do it, right? I think that if there is a way for you guys to take turns depending on the meeting to lead it. So that way, if it's pedestrian, then two of you guys to join. If it's bicycle, two of you guys to join, because I feel like I'm choosing between my favorite children.
No, but I would
listen.
also suggest, let me echo.
Go ahead.
That we have, I'm going to turn this one off. We have two people from Ward 2. We should have one from each ward. So I would suggest Luke do it. I mean, no dispute to Valerie, but we usually try and do one from each ward.
So let's do this. Because we don't have enough representation for Ward 1, Luke, I would like for you to step up for Ward 1 to speak for the rest of the residents, because I think the other committees might end up being Ward 2 as well. Okay?
Yes,
Sorry,
I'm sorry. I just realized what was happening in the chat with the Zoom bomb.
Yeah.
Yes,
I tried to move as smoothly as I could, Jared.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Selena, sorry, could you
Go ahead.
repeat the question? I think I missed it.
I said there's three of you guys that want to be part of the committee, right? So we have like no representation from Ward 1. That's the reason why I wanted to make sure you were there, because we only have one person from Ward 1, which is Alex. So that way you at least have it. And I think that if a lot of the members from the other committee are from Ward 2 heavily, so I want to make sure at least we have a balance on it. but I'm trying to make sure we could have all three of you guys, depending on the meeting, for you guys to rotate in and out, right? So that way we at least have like, so that way the three of you guys could participate depending on what the meeting is. Because I think the three of you guys cannot be, more than two of you guys cannot be on it because they will come. Well, technically you three could be on it, but technically the three of you guys could be on, if I'm not mistaken, because you guys are gonna call an open meeting. So how about this? You three could be on it. I am gonna ask from here to May, Jared to take my spot as vice mayor, and then from May and on, Luke, you take my spot as vice mayor, okay? So you guys will definitely just change rotation. So technically the three of you guys could be on it, okay? Because we did say the mayor.
I know,
and
no, I
council
don't think
members.
so, Mayor. That's not what we said. I mean, you included one of the two people.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
what
only
I
two
was thinking.
people.
So how are you guys still
I
gonna decide then?
I would just vote
Go ahead.
that we, I mean, with all due respect, we have one from each ward. That's what we usually try and do.
Okay, so who are you gonna pick, Jimmy? Because this is gonna be a vote then.
Well, right now I would vote for Jared and Luke, but they've both been involved, and Valerie would be great too, but we just can't choose. I would choose one of them two, and just because of, that's what I would choose. You have to make decisions once in a while.
I know it's tough. All right, Jared, where are you at?
I mean,
Because
I
you did
think,
got us in this mess, so you should be part of it.
yeah, I'd prefer to myself, obviously, because it makes a lot of sense, just given my background in transportation, centrality in it. And
How about we do this? We do Luke and Jared, okay?
Yeah.
Because Jared, you did got us into this mess. And as you guys deal with pedestrians, you could call like on the expertise of Valerie to join you guys.
that's fine.
Because
These are
task
open
force just
meetings.
states that you could call an expertise of people to join you guys and talk and discuss certain things.
These are open meetings also, right? No reason why people can participate,
Mhm.
whether it counts or not.
Okay. So I think Valerie, how are you feeling? I think Valerie might have dropped. Okay. So for right now, we're gonna go ahead and assign Luke and Jerry. You guys are gonna take it on. So the three of us will step on, and if you need any expertise when it comes to the walking part of it, obviously you could call upon any of us, including Valerie, to join. Okay. Yes.
Sounds good. Yep, sounds good.
Okay. And they are open meetings, so make sure that we follow that procedure. You guys, council, you definitely know what that looks like. Make sure the agendas are posted, the information's out, so that way, like if a meeting's called and it's an open meeting for members of the community to join if they choose to as well. Okay. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So can I have a motion on the floor?
So moved. Yes.
I move to appoint Gabe Popkin as a representative from the Green Team, Alex Cozen,
Or one.
Matt Butner as representatives, as residential reps, and then Jarrett and myself as city council representatives to the Vision Zero Task Force.
Okay, and then Tim and oh my God, I can't slip her name right now. And the PTO presidents, how they call it, to also send the information out to them so that we could join for their particular task as well. Okay. All right. So there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All right. It's been probably moved and second. Any objections? Abstentions? All right, hearing none, the task force has been established. So guys, if by any chances you cannot make any of the meetings, please call on backups to like show up, okay, council? All right. So the first one in the list should be Valerie if you guys cannot make one of the meetings. So the first meeting is when, Bill?
Tomorrow, Wednesday, Mayor, at 7:30.
At 7 o'clock, yes.
7 o'clock
7 o'clock, okay?
to 8:30.
So don't be looking at me like you guys don't know, like if you guys are available. All right, moving on to, for item number 7, we're not gonna adjourn, we're gonna go into recess. That's what the legal team, that's what Elisa did request for us to go into recess in case we need to come out of closed session and vote on something. And she did ask for us to just recess the legislative session, okay? So can I have a motion to recess the legislative session to go into the work session?
So
So
moved. Second.
Seconded.
You guys are funny. So move, it's been properly moved and second. Any objections? Abstentions, here none. We have gone into recess for the legislative meeting. Now we're gonna be moving on to the public hearing for budget amendment number 2. Call meeting to order, Lou Chesek, Jared Stofis, Jimmy Tarlow, and Valerie Woodall. Okay, so we do have full quorum. All right. So we're gonna do a review of the agenda. Vice Mayor, can you go ahead and review the agenda?
Yes. Melissa, are you gonna pull it up or should I
That's
pull it
the
up?
full agenda, the hearing. It's just item 3 and 4. It's like the public hearing and the adjournment.
Okay, sorry, I didn't have it in front of me. There.
Go ahead.
Well, because I thought we were gonna pull it up. Sorry.
Move it up just a little bit more. There. Go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. I don't have it popping up on my screen. I just see Luke.
So let me read it.
Second. Sorry.
Item number 3, public hearing regarding ordinance 02-2023 budget amendment number 2 and adjournment. So that's the whole hearing. Can you put the document in front of us, Melissa? Is there anything else? There's nothing else you need to add to this hearing, correct, Council? We're moving the agenda as approved for the hearing. Yes. I'm looking at thumbs up. Yes. Okay. All right, good. So this is what we had, the first reading, second reading, and it got voted by our rules. We are also doing a hearing on the budget amendment number 2. So pull it all the way, move it up more, Melissa. As you can tell, it has the account, the description, where it currently is in the current budget, the adjustment, and the revised budget for each of the line items of the budget, and some of the creation of new line items that include, a lot of this has to do with the grants that we have received. We need to like vote them into the budget to be able to utilize them. And that includes various grants for economic development, public works, the green streets, the welcome center, the PD community grant program. The other thing was like the damage, the money that we got for damages for the cars, the fund balance. Keep going. The CDBG economic development grant, the level up economic development grant, the CBT 2262 from Public Works, the HCDC tag from Econ, the Green Streets grant, the HCC grant from Economic Development, the HCC grant from Economic Development, another one, Welcome Center, and Community Program grants. So, so as you can tell, the staff has been very, very busy. The departments have been very busy writing grants, and very fortunate they've been receiving it. And then this is like a change from police state aid to purchase vehicles. And we did discuss in several meetings how the heavy mileage that's on them, and that's the reason why we need to purchase them. The contingency, supply for equipment, use of fund balance, matching grants. And here's our signatures. So if any member of the community wishes to speak on this public hearing, please let us know. Jared, do you have anybody on Facebook?
No comments.
Okay. All right, put the agenda up. Okay. Seeing that there is no comments on the chat or on media, I would like to make a motion to adjourn this public hearing.
So moved.
It's been probably moved. Any seconds?
Seconded.
It's been probably moved and second. All right, any discussion? Objection, abstention, hearing none. This public hearing has come to an end for our ordinance 02-2022 budget amendment number 2. All right, move on to the next one. Melissa, I'm actually working hard, Melissa. Agenda for work session for mayor and council. This is our regular scheduled work session. And this is a virtual session for today, March 21st, 2023. And it was following the public hearing. We are gonna do a call to order. Valerie Woodall.
I'm here.
Jared.
Here.
Luke. I see a thumb up from Luke. Yes, he's here. Jimmy.
Here.
All right. We have a full council. Vice Mayor, can you go ahead and move on to item number 2, review of the agenda, please? Jared, can you see the agenda or no?
Now I can, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I had to restart. Okay, number 1, call to order. Number 2, review of agenda. Number 3, presentation discussion on selecting Mitchel Titus Auditors as the new audit firm for the city. Number 4, presentation discussion of building applications for 3713 35th Street and 4210 29th Street. Number 5, presentation and discussion on the economic development second quarter report. Number 6, presentation discussion on the police department second quarter report. Number 7, discussion of a proposal city-based home repairs program. Number 8, update and discussion on operation support for Gateway CDC on a 3-year basis. Number 9, discussion on the implementation of the rent stabilization ordinance. Number 10, discussion on open meeting training for committee members. Number 11, discussion of solar panels for city buildings. Number 12, ARPA discussion update. Number 28. Number 13, presentation of minutes. Number 14, presentation of minutes for February 21st, February 28th, March 7th. And then for number 14, proposal to go into closed session. According to the Annotated Code of Maryland, the mayor and city council of the city of Mount Rainier, Maryland have a statutory authority to close a session under general provisions, Article 3-305B for reasons of subsection 7 and 9. 7, to consult with counsel obtain legal advice, and 9, to conduct collective bargaining negotiations or consider matters that relate to the negotiation. Number 15, adjournment.
Council, you heard a fair reading of the agenda. Is there anything you guys choose to delete or add to the agenda? Speak up now. If not, please make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, probably move in second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, we have an agenda that's been approved. Moving on to item number 3, presentation and discussion of selecting Mitchel Titus Auditors as the new auditor firm for the city. Mayor and council will receive a presentation from Mr. Dan Keeney. So just as a point of information, our current firm, who we love, and they've done an outstanding job for the city in making sure that we are up to date, is no longer gonna be in the business of auditing municipalities. And that's the reason why there is going to be a change. And that's probably the only reason, because they were really good. So in saying that, we have a member here, Mr. Dan has worked with the city, and there is, he moved to the new firm, right? And we've asked for them to come on and present to mayor and council who they are, and we'd like to hear about them. Mr. Keeney is familiar with our team, with our books, and with the work that is expected from the city. So I was asked why I said that we were changing firms if they were doing so good, but that's the reason why they no longer are in the business of doing municipal work. They're gonna start doing other kind of work. You know, we'll miss them. Sad tears, right? Okay, so Melissa, because I'm looking at Jimmy's blank screen. All right, so I do have Mr. Dan Keeney right here. So Mr. Keeney, how are you? Thank you for joining us today.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor Benitez. Nice to see you, and council members as well. So once again, to reiterate what the mayor said, CohnReznick is no longer pursuing the state and local work. I retired from CohnReznick. I was with the firm for 35 years, and now I am a partner at Mitchel and Titus, which is a firm that's approximately 50 years old. It is the largest minority-owned firm in the U.S., and we are pleased to be able to continue, or not continue, but I can continue to work with the city. And we have a very, very good team included in the proposal that you could see. There's our concurring partner is a gentleman named Paul Garrity.
Is there a presentation that we're looking at?
If someone could put it
You need
on
the share screen. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
because I was just looking at
yeah,
Jimmy's
that's
screen. I
perfect.
couldn't see no one else. Go on. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So anyway, included in our team is a concurring partner. His name is Paul Garrity. I used to work with Paul at Reznick many years ago. He left Reznick and then he went to KPMG, became a partner there, retired from KPMG, and now he's also a partner at Mitchel and Titus. So it's really great for me to join this firm with Paul. Paul's been there over a year now and has a tremendous amount of experience in governmental accounting. And so feel very good about that. And then, of course, I have a new manager on the team, and it's going to be new staff. Everyone's going to be new except for me. So you'll get the benefit of having a new firm look at everything with a fresh set of eyes, but then you'll also have the experienced partner who is familiar with your processes and your procedures. And as you recall, in my previous firm, we got through many audits within a relatively short period of time due to the cooperation, I can tell you, of the mayor, of you guys, the council members, management, and the finance team. So, it was a collective effort in getting it done. So you guys are now all caught up, and I'm pleased that you're caught up. And so this year, if you go to page 18 of the proposal, or not the proposal, the presentation, excuse me, we do have a timeline in place. And that timeline might be a bit ambitious, but I wanted to include that because the first deadline is October 31, and municipalities are allowed to, if you go to page 18, it'll say timeline on it. That's 15, keep going. But you'll see the timeline, it ends on October 31. Now you can go for an extension, which is very, very typical with municipalities. They always go out until December 1. But my goal with Mitchel Titus would be to try to get your audit done before December 1st. I can't promise October 31, but that's certainly a goal, and I'll work with you know, the council members and of course the management team to make sure that you definitely hit your deadline by December 1. As I was just on the previous call, I see that you got a lot more funding, which is great. But with that, you know, that means transactions being recorded, and you have to make sure you have your processes and procedures in place, which as the auditor, you know, we'll make sure the audit is done in accordance with, you know, government auditing standards, and we'll also make sure that the transactions are recorded in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So that is key. So anyway, once again, it's I'm pleased to be working with you again. I think my team is going to be very strong. It's going to be, you know, a first-year audit though, because we're going to have to come in and look at everything, and I have all new people looking at things. So you know, that'll be challenging, but you'll have the benefit of my experience, and you'll also have the benefit of your experience and having, you know, same management team, same finance team. That'll really help, because over the years, not to go backward, but over the years, you guys have had some turnover in that area, and that has caused you significant delays over the years. But once again, you're caught up now, so congrats to everyone.
Thank you so much, Dan. Do you have more of your presentation so I can open it up to Mayor and Council? Do you have more to add?
I think that's it. I mean, you guys have such a long agenda. I'll be happy to answer any questions, you know.
What? You're not going to let us go for another 20 minutes?
I mean,
Thank you, Dan. So the other thing to point out for the community, as you guys saw the timeline, that's the other reason why we wanted to make sure we move, you know, quick enough to make sure there wasn't a delayed in cottage, because our former firm, now that they have turned in our final audit, they're no longer with us, right? Their term expires, right? So we want to make sure it was a continuous firm, and having Dan, who knows our, you know, who knows our system, it will allow for him to carry the team that he's working with, collaborate with our team in making sure we try to hit that December deadline that we have been, I know me and Luke have been dreaming for years to, and it lasts on my birthday. So if you could give me that birthday gift, will make me very happy. But that's the other reason why, because if we know we go out there and do a bunch of stuff, we will fall right behind, and we're finally on time. So we want to make sure we keep momentum. All right, so I said all I had to say. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the floor. I'm gonna start with Valerie, Jared, Luke, and Jimmy. Go ahead, Valerie.
Thank you, Dan, for being here. I thought, you know, when I looked at the proposal, I thought it was good. It was less expensive than other firms, I think. So that was good as well. And it'll save some taxpayer dollars. So it's exciting. And I think it sounds like you have a lot of experience doing this work. So thank you. I look forward to working with you.
thank you.
Perfect. Jared. Jared, I don't hear you or see you. So I'm gonna go to Luke, and then I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, no, I just want to say I appreciate you being here for bringing us up to speed, and you know, feel very good about your firm and the background you provided us. So no additional comments.
Thank you. Luke, go ahead.
Dan, thanks so much for being here. Thank you for helping out the city, keep our finances in order, and that's it. Thanks.
Jimmy.
Sounds fine with me.
Perfect. So, is there any member of the public that wishes to speak? Let us know. And in the meantime, I'll say, Dan, I mean, you know, I really like your firm. I remember when we first had that introduction, then we went ahead and worked with you guys for another term. You guys have delivered. I think you guys have been good at communicating and working with our team, both our CM and our finance consultant. We're very happy to recommend you guys as well. And I know that, you know, the last term around, we were definitely happy to add more time, and had you guys stay together, we probably kept you guys a little bit longer even. But I'm glad we get to keep a little bit of our former firm, and as we work with a new one as well. All right, Council, I don't see any member of the public asking any questions. And I do want to point out that part of the things that we have asked our firms from Chronic, the last two signups that we had is that they will come to mayor and council and present to us, or if we have a question, they will come to us. That was very important because previously to that, that wasn't the case. So I want to make sure that is part of this agreement. And usually we don't call upon you guys, but the option is there if we need to, or when it's time to present the final wrap up. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you so much for
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Okay, so council, can we have we don't making a motion first, sorry. So council, if we're, so Kamali, I guess it seems like we're all in agreement for you to move forward with this. So we could always come back from recess and vote on it, that's not a problem, but I will say we're in agreement to move forward with it. Okay, and I will say go ahead and add it to, I mean, you could add it to when we come back from recess so that we could take a vote if that's fine. All right, but in the meantime, we're okay with you moving forward with whatever you need to move forward to make this happen. Okay, so thank you, Dan. Have a good night, and thank you for making this short and sweet so we can move on to the next item. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
We'll keep you busy, Dan.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. Moving on to item number 4. Presentation discussion on building application for 3713 35th Street in Mount Rainier, followed by 4210 29th Street, Mount Rainier. So I think did I saw Alma on the line? Code Director, Alma Ferrufino. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Glad to be here with you once again. And here to do a presentation on property 3713 35th Street. I know that we have Mr. Cesar Gonzalez here to represent the property. So if you would like to speak, Mr. Cesar.
And in the meantime, Melissa, can you move it up so we could see any of the plans right there on the screen? All right, thank you, Melissa. All right.
Yep. Hello.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, I couldn't hear you guys. Hi. So my name is Cesar. I'm the contractor for the property on 3713 35th Street in Mount Rainier. I would like to say it was a pleasure for you guys having me. I wanted to thank you guys for that. With that being said, do you guys have any questions according for this property?
So can you let us know what is it that you're applying for and what you're presenting in front of us?
Okay, so what's in front of you is actually the plans for the remodel for this property. Right now, the current condition of this property is it's vacant and it's a distressed property. So what we're going to do is we're going to remodel, and we're also going to renovate it. Like, for example, the basement is just going to be a renovation, but the second floor, what you're seeing here actually is the first floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with an open floor plan because currently right now you have walls dividing the dining room, kitchen, the foyer and the living room. So what we're going to do is we're going to demo non-load bearing walls, and what we're also going to do is we're going to move the kitchen from the left side over to the right side, just so we can have a larger area, and also we're going to have like an island for the kitchen facing out towards the living room, and we're going to open up a deck in the back and an awning in the front. But actually, what I wasn't able to get towards you guys was the awning is going to be removed. It's no longer going to be, constructed, mainly because the process for having that approved is just too long for us in PG County. Just they're going to take, a considerable amount of time for this, and the owner's paying too much in interest for this property. So, he asked us for us to remove that. So what you see here is the awning. That's no longer going to be stay like that. We're no longer going to build anything there. Whatever's existing is just going to stay like that. All it's going to do is just be renovated as well.
Okay,
Yep. Hello.
we're here.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything else that we need to know?
So on the second floor, what we're going to do, there's currently 4 rooms and 1 full bathroom in the second floor. What we're going to do is we're going to turn one of the bedrooms, bedroom number 4, we're going to turn it into a master closet and a master bedroom for one of the bedrooms, so we can turn it into a master bedroom. And aside from that, there's not that many changes. It's just, you know, we're going to be removing, you know, the old material that's inside of the property. We're going to be replacing it with drywall, new flooring, new electrical, new plumbing, new HVAC, pretty much renovating the entire property. The only thing that's technically going to be staying as it is just the frame pretty much of the property.
So, Mr. Gonzalez, so everything in the instance was going to be changed, but there's not going to be any demolition going on the outside. Is that what it is? No?
Yeah, on the outside, the only thing that was going to be done is we're just going to apply siding to the property, new siding, because the siding that was currently there is damaged.
Okay. So, I'm gonna go Luke this time around because it's 35th Street, so this should be in our side of the hood, but it should be on your ward. Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah.
And followed by Jamie.
Thank you. I just want to make sure you understand, you know, not to start work before 8 a.m. We'll get calls from residents who will be very angry, and then we will have to get angry at you. So please don't start work before 8 a.m. We're also very cognizant of our trees, even our trees on private property, trees that are in excess of a certain diameter. You can't cut down. There's a process for that. And then we just ask that you put, you know, no heavy machinery around a big tree's roots or sitting on a big tree's roots, preferably that you put fencing around it. And then we know that if you're doing any excavation around the house, we have a lot of clay. And make sure that clay is not near the curb, because what'll happen in a rainstorm is the rain will just wash a bunch of red clay into the sidewalks and the streets. And again, we'll get angry calls from residents. So try to keep that all organized as best you can in a way away from the curb. And I think that's my best Brian Nedler impersonation.
You hit everything. I know, I was thinking about it. Go, Brian, are you here with us? All right, perfect. Jimmy, the floor's yours. You're talking, you're in.
Yeah, no, I'm talking. No, Mayor, you're the neighbor, so why don't you defer to you? You live right there.
So I'll go to word 2, but yeah, please be aware that if, you know, I am in this side of the area where you're going to be making those changes. So I will be hearing it loud and clear, whether it's like behind the church or like 2 streets over from me, I will hear about it. So I'm going to go ahead. Valerie Jarrett.
I don't have anything to add. This is great. Thank you.
Okay, Jarrett.
Yep. No, just want to re-highlight what Luke said. Noise. Just, you know, mindful of our code around noise when you can start work, and noise and so forth. You know, take care of the trees, runoff, and all that stuff. And you know, thank you for coming to our community and you know, working to improve this property. It's really appreciated. That's it.
You're welcome.
So, Mr. Gonzalez, I do have a question. Are you planning to move? Are the families planning to move there, or they're just flipping the home?
No, that property is being flipped. So what we're going to, you know, put state-of-the-art material in there.
Okay. And I think that Luke basically ran through all of it, and please emphasize on the fact that we love our trees. There are ordinance that protects our trees. So if you are in doubt, reach out to Alma and she'll direct you to the tree commission. So that way, you know, if a tree is being put in danger. The other thing is, like, if you are going to be utilizing the big trash cans, make sure that you talk to Alma regarding the permits. And it usually becomes a little bit easier if you notify like the neighbors that a trash can is going to be put in front of your property, because they could construct parking.
Yeah.
But other than that, we asked whether, whether you're staying in the city or whether you're doing the work for somebody else, treat it as like it will be your home. And if you do not want to hear loud noises past before 8 a.m., how do you call it? Don't do it here as well. But we look forward to seeing. Let us know when the open house happens. We usually try to attend to see what it is and
Okay.
and take a look at what the new changes are as well. Okay. And as soon as I do a walkthrough when the before and after, so that way people could see where it was and what the improvements have been. All right.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great.
All right. Alma, do you have about this property or they're good with you?
No, he's actually been really good about submitting everything. So yes, we talked about a lot of those things earlier today. So he was aware that he was going to be asked a lot of questions regarding trees and noise and everything else. So we're good.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And Mr. Gonzalez, thank you so much as well. We're happy to hear that you have good communication with the code department. Okay.
Okay, thank you guys as well.
Right.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
I can leave the meeting or do I stay?
No, you could leave after this. It's fine. And if you do a great job and you look at other houses around the city that need remodeling, it'll be great to have you as well. All right.
Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Okay. Have a good night. We'll meet you soon. We like to walk around the neighborhood, so you'll run into a couple of us. Now you see what we look like.
Okay.
All right. So moving on to the next one, that's 4210 29th Street in Mount Rainier. So Alma, who do we have somebody here, and what would you like to add to this?
Yeah. So I know that this is a property that we all have been waiting for, 4210 29th Street, and we have Ms. Cheryl Macheski actually here to represent.
Hello, Mrs. Macheski. Thank you for joining us tonight. Can you let us know what changes you'll be making to the property? If you are speaking, you're in mute. We cannot hear you. So I do see her on the screen. Oh,
I have
okay,
a
your
very
mic is open. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We could hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. I have a very unique situation with this property. I purchased it a while ago. I've been back and forth with the permits, with the actual stamped drawings. I've since gotten all the drawings. I have all the approvals, and now I'm ready to get started. As you can see, it's going to need a massive amount of work, but I think it's going to be a great improvement to the area. This house has been sitting for quite a while. It's distressed, and I want to build it back.
So are you doing any demolition outside, or anything's going to be internal, and what is it that
a lot of the demolition has already been done.
Okay.
I've had the inspector Terry, which is out of the PG County, come out and look at the property. I've had an engineer come and look at the property, and they have given me approval to basically build this property back in the current state that it, not a new house, but putting everything back and fixing it.
Okay. So this is Ward 2. We're going to go Jared Valerie. Go ahead.
Yep, sorry, it's on mute. No, just thank you so much for coming in. Thank you very much for tackling this property. I know it's been it's been as it is for quite some time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's much appreciated that you're tackling it, and we really appreciate you doing the work and improving this community. So I don't know if you were on earlier. I'll just when Luke was talking to the previous applicant, but I'll just reiterate what we've said before. We in the city, we have a couple additional requirements on top of the counties, and mainly they relate to hours of work, don't start before a certain time, as Selena and Luke have relayed in the previous item. We will hear about it if contractors start work before when they're supposed to, or after when they're supposed to. And again, we have, if you're doing works that impacts trees, please check with the tree commission or ALMA and the tree commission on what impacts you might might occur to trees and what you might need to do. You can't, folks often when they're renovating a house and impacting trees on property, sometimes they just think, it's a private tree, they can cut it down. That is not necessarily the case. Any action on a private tree needs to, over a certain size, has to get approval, because we're trying very hard to protect our tree cover, and keeping this area cooler, but also trees are really critical to addressing a lot of the stormwater impacts that we have that are particularly impactful in an older community like this. I'm sure you've may have seen before, may have heard before, the issues in flash flood events. They're really critical to making sure that we mitigate some of those impacts. I just want to, just for clarity, are you renovating this to live in? Are you?
Well, when I started it, I was going to renovate it and sell it, but I like the area. I love the street. So I may move in it. I'm not sure yet, but I have a lot invested in this property, and I'm kind of sitting on the fence as to whether I'm going to move or I'm going to sell it.
Gotcha. And no, just out of curiosity, that's either way, of course, is totally fine. But we'd love to have you as a neighbor. So we're hoping, hoping you'll decide to move in and stay. But yeah, aside from that, I think that's all the questions I had. Thanks.
All right, perfect. Valerie?
Yeah, thank you. I think, definitely having this house renovated is going to be a good thing. No more pools of mosquitoes and anything else.
Exactly.
Heard about. So, and like Jarrett, eager to have good residents live there. So think about it, and thank you for investing in this property.
All right, I'm going to go Jimmy, then Luke.
I don't have any comments. Thank you.
Okay, Luke.
Yep, no construction before 8 a.m. No construction after 8 a.m. Care of the city trees. Make sure you don't cut any down that are bigger than a certain diameter. That includes those just on your private property. And trees that you may be having heavy machinery on, just try not to have that heavy machinery rest on the roots. And if you're digging up any clay or something like that, make sure that's in kind of a spot that's away from the sidewalk, because when it rains, that clay can kind of run down on the sidewalk and neighbors' properties in the street. So that's my spiel, and thank you.
Okay, thank you. Alma, do you have any concerns or anything you need to flag for us when it comes to this property?
No, I just want to thank Ms. Macheski, because she's been really patient with the whole process. And I should be processing your permit and have it ready by tomorrow.
Okay, I think so. Thank you so much for investing and being patient. I know this has been a labor of love. And same thing as I think the council cover every single thing. Let us know if you guys are gonna have an open house. Same thing. We love to see the renovations inside, and hopefully you make this your home. We'll like to see you as a neighbor as well, especially because you have a lot of invested in this property. So we look forward to seeing you, and any questions you have. I will usually tell people, when in doubt, reach out to Alma. So that way later on, you don't get yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, I should have or could have. But she's usually very helpful, and she'll guide you through any process that you need, whether it's like the tree team or the green team or any of them. She should be able to help you through in any of the city policies. All right, so thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing the construction happening.
Okay.
And Alma, thank you so much as well for definitely shepherding us through this process. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, Alma, you're not in the agenda anymore. You're done.
I'll stick around.
All right. No, I was just asking because I said good night. And I want to be like, wait, you were in the agenda. All right. Thank you so much, Alma. All right. Moving on to item number 5, presentation discussion, the economic development second quarter report. We will receive a presentation from Mr. Ronald Hopkins, Director of Economic Development. So good evening, Ron. How are you?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Kamali, and invited guest. I'm going to present the Department of Economic Development's second quarter report with updates. So, because it's been a long time coming. So, under business development and occupancy, U-Source construction is about 90% complete with the Rhode Island Avenue facade improvement project. We had to deal with the issue of fire at Aladdin Sizzler. We were unable to actually repair the inside of the buildings, but we are going to put some paint on the outside of the buildings until later date, until they settle the claim with the insurance company. So I just wanted to provide that update. And we are on target to be complete at least to the end of April. I promoted and recruited Pizza Dora from Washington, D.C. to open another restaurant at the former ZZ Pizza's vacated space on 34th Street. New windows have been installed along with extensive cleanup and interior enhancements. We're still waiting for permits from DPI, but a summer opening appears quite possible. On the next item, at-risk business development, there has been some changes. So initially the IFG group, the owners of the 3200 Rhode Island Avenue, they have not erected commercial billboards as requested, and they failed to reply to the email correspondence. So therefore, Code Compliance had issued the following citations. One was bushes with weeds over 1 inch high, accumulation of deposits, a $250 fine, and a vacant lot registration citation. However, last week I met with Fatih Ganer, the owner of 3200 Rhode Island Avenue, and he's going to make a presentation to Mayor and Council on April 4th to provide us with updates. Sweet Natural has closed its 34th Street location to customers and no progress has been made. And with moving into the 3311 Rhode Island Avenue location. However, they have moved some equipment there, as you can see from the street, but they are in litigation with the attorneys and the owners of the Art Space building. All quarterly reports have been filed. All 4 of the Rhode Island Avenue facade improvement reports have been filed, and also the NED report with Memorial Park. Under approved grant awards, we were awaiting grant agreements, but we have received the signed agreements for the 34th Street facade improvement project. So we awarded $100,000 for that with no matching funds. And we also have a MIP grant, a Main Street Improvement Program grant. We were awarded $10,000 for that, and that's going to be used for wayfinding signs. Activities and events, I attended the Latino Professional Mixer during Hispanic Heritage Month. We produced a Time to Level Up business seminar in collaboration with the Maryland Black Chamber of Commerce. Participants were provided 4 hours of free consulting services with leading accounting firms and CPAs. I attended the Future of Prince George's County Symposium presented by BizNow and Prince George's Economic Development Corporation. And I also produced a business networking event at Medi Cafe with catered food, live entertainment, with over 70 individuals in attendance, both business owners and residents. And it was quite a nice gathering. So I'm open for any questions.
Thank you so much. We're gonna start with Jimmy, Valerie, Jared, and Luke. Go ahead.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Valerie?
Yeah, thank you, Ron. You guys have been extremely busy, and I've been impressed with all the various events and conference type things you guys are hosting. I think that's really exciting to see. I think it's also great that you're you know, filing all our grant award things and as well. A few questions. It sounds like the 3200 Rhode Island Avenue is starting to move. Is that correct? It's just starting, or?
They'll make a presentation on April 4th, right?
Okay,
So
okay,
they'll
okay.
provide us with updates. I don't
Cool.
want to spoil
Okay,
anything.
okay, great. And then Pizza de Oreo, they're stuck in Prince George's permitting, is that right?
Yes, but
Okay.
they should be receiving permits shortly. Yes.
Soon, okay, okay. And you think summertime is when they're gonna open? Okay, cool. And then just one question, you guys have promoted a grant writing seminar of some sort. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. So at the end of the year MRBA meeting, I asked all the businesses what type of services that they needed. So one was accounting services, the next was marketing and branding services, and also grant writing services, right? So since the organizations I'm a member of have no grant writers in the membership, I created that flyer to recruit actually grant writers throughout the state of Maryland. And so then once we vet them, they're going to have a panel discussion, and we're still going to provide the same type of service of 4 hours of consultation services to our local businesses for grant writing services.
Great. If there were residents in the area that were interested in participating in that as a grant writer.
Absolutely. Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Okay, to you. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I think I said Jared followed by Luke.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ron. It's really helpful to see all the work you're doing, you know, events and engagement, and bringing folks together and at business and driving business to our community. Sorry, driving folks to businesses at our community as well. So really, really appreciated. I think Valerie tackled a couple of my questions. Just so I understand, the facades for Aladdin's and I'm sorry, the American, I always forget the complete name, American Print.
Yes.
Yeah. Are those businesses reopening in April or?
Oh, no, I don't think so. So I talked to the property owner. The first was whether they're going to come back or not. We did get approval on that they will come back, but I don't think they'll be open in April.
Oh, so for both
problems. Go ahead.
Both businesses will return or plan to return.
That's what I've been told.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good news, and thank you for staying on top of that. And I guess, you know, same with Pizza Doro. I mean, whatever the mayor and council can do to expedite things in the county. I know that's often the sticking point. On 32 Rhode Island, thanks for that. I looking forward to hearing their presentation on, I guess, the update presentation. Do we have any sense about what that's going to be? Is that update on progress or update on, I guess, challenges, or, you know, is that, I guess I know, and I appreciate, I know this has been a challenging dynamic on seeing movement. I'm just happy that we're going to have them come before mayor and council, but if you have any additional clarity, that'd be appreciated.
So it's all of the above, right? It's all of the above. So ideally, the initial plan was for 97 condos. They've changed that now to apartments due to the rise in the interest rates. That's one thing. They did get the architectural design approved through DPI, right? So now they're also waiting for other permits to actually be submitted as well. And the caveat that we have, or the stipulation that we propose in front of them, is to erect the commercial billboards with the signs. So they haven't done that yet, but I was promised that they would do that before April 4th's meeting. So then we'll see what progress they've made. So, you know, we're operating in good faith, you know, so we'll see what happens before the actual presentation.
Okay.
Did that cover all of your questions, Jared?
Yep, it does. Thank you very much, Ron. Much appreciated.
Okay, perfect. Luke?
Thank you, Mayor. Ron, appreciate just being forthright with all this stuff. It's really important for the community to hear what's going on with 3200 Rhode Island Avenue. It's such a key property for us for economic development. A few questions I have. One thing to just keep in mind, and this is sort of a design thing, and this is just if you talk to Pizza d'Oro, you know, one of the things on 34th Street at that block that Glut's on, that Nisi's is on, and that Pizza d'Oro is going to be on, is those windows, those bay windows, are beautiful if they're done right. And they really pop if you do not have awnings over them. So if you look at Nisi's, she's done a great job at her front facade. There's no awnings over those bay windows, and it really pops and makes her storefront look nicer. And so I would love for Pizza d'Oro to sort of consider what that building could look like with signage that is not an awning over those windows. I understand from Lisa at the Waterhole that there are water issues with those windows, and I think the awnings sort of serve that purpose. But just something to keep in the back of your mind, because, and this leads to my other point, as we look at facade improvements up 34th Street, you know, that's one idea I'd love to have, because I think that block would look so much better if you don't have the awnings over the windows and you let those bay windows sort of pop. But I also want to look at to see if we could get maybe a couple of quotes from organizations, but besides the neighborhood design program or center, just to see what sort of maybe different classes of designers would cost. So sort of medium tier, high tier, how much that would cost, because I'm totally open to spending more money in this field for facade improvements if you get a really better product. And so I just would love to have those sort of proposals as we look at the implementing the facade improvements for 34th Street. And then the last piece was wayfinding. Would love to see what designs we have in mind for those wayfinding signs. I'm partial to the blue signs with the white lettering with the arrows on it that I think you've seen around DC and other places. I think those look really good as far as signage, usually on like a black light post. They may match the light post that we have up 34th Street. So that might be nice as well. And I have thoughts on a sort of a larger economic development plan for the 34th Street area and what we can do. But I will take that offline and maybe email the city manager about that. So if you have any feedback on that, I know that was a lot. Sorry to kind of throw all that out there, just trying to stay under my time. Thank you.
No, so it's good. Thank you, Luke, for that. So number one, the awnings are an issue. I've been in conversation with MUTC. The awnings that are currently in place are out of compliance. And so that's going to have to be a discussion. In fact, the owner of Pizza d'Oro is going to be meeting with MUTC about the awnings in general. So I don't know if they're going to get rid of them or not, but that is an issue of contention. Secondly, with neighborhood design centers, so we don't have a lot of money for the facade improvement. Like, I only have $100,000, right? That was allocated for $300,000. So we really don't have a lot of money to be spending on the design itself. So my objective is to do the facade improvement on 34th Street in phases. So it's going to be from Pizza d'Oro to Sandra's on one side of the street, and then from the former Sweet and Natural down to Glut. So it's about 6 or 7 stores. That's it, right? But I can't afford to really spend a lot of money on the design for only 6 stores, right? Because we only have $100,000, right? Neighborhood Design Center, I will also look for other bids, you know, with other design companies, but they're the most affordable for the price. That's why Hyattsville uses them, College Park uses them, actually Colmar Manor, is it? No, Cottage City. They're using them as well for their residential facade improvement, so they come highly recommended. But I will also get other bids. In fact, I was on the phone with Allie today. You know, I gave her a price that I wanted to pay, and she's talking much higher now as well. So I will search that out. But I don't want to spend a lot of money. So what I did with the Rhode Island Avenue facade improvement, I used the grant monies, total the $300,000, that went all to facade improvements. And I used some of my Main Street money to help pay the contractors for the neighborhood design and for the project manager as well. because the facades are very expensive.
Yeah, I think what I'm saying is that I'm willing to look at other places in the budget so that you do not have to touch that 100,000 for design.
Okay, all right.
That
As long as we have the money.
that's just me talking.
Okay,
But that's an interest I have.
all right, because I don't have it. I don't have
Yep.
it.
I
And
understand.
secondly,
I understand. And I appreciate you looking to find ways to do things economically. I appreciate that.
Right, and then with the wayfinding signs, we have only $10,000 with that, you know, so I'm gonna put that also out to bid to find out what company can actually design some signs for us. But this is for the Main Street corridor only. It's not throughout the city, so it'll be Rhode Island Avenue and 34th Street and in City Hall as well, right? So I hope that answers your questions.
Got all of them, Luke?
Yep. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Jimmy, anything to add? I wasn't sure if I called Jimmy first. I just didn't want to skip him by accident.
You called on me already.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
Jimmy,
didn't have
sorry.
anything.
I think you skipped it. I was very surprised. So Ron, thank you so much for the work that you have been doing, both representing us also in the economic conference and also in the county executive and state. It's a lot of work, and you also represent, you also sit in various boards, and the ability for you to do that has allowed us to be able to utilize a lot of your resources, and we're definitely thankful for that. Regarding Design Center, they're definitely, you know, I have mad love for them. They do outstanding job, and I think that definitely that's not what we're saying. We still love them, but you know, yeah, bring in the 3 bits and stuff like that, and let's look at it. I would tell you, if we want to spend more money, the Science Center will take every single penny more that we have to offer. They will not say no to us. So let's be very careful if we're saying we have money to spare, because they will give us like a different tier, if you want to call it that, for the more money. I think what they do is like work within our budget, and they have a true love for our community. Something that I do love that, you know, about them sincerely is like, for the facade improvement, they spend a lot of time along with our team talking to the businesses, hearing what they wanted to say, being patient with them and approachable, and all of that to me adds value that other companies might not have seen, because they were definitely very patient, you know, like and talking to them, go after them, and making sure they heard what they had to say. So positive, and I love a very strong woman-led company, and there definitely are very strong woman-led companies. So that's a couple of the positive things that I love about them. So the other thing, we are looking forward to the April 4. I am glad that you started the beginning conversation, so that way we could figure out what's going on, you know, because it is in all of our best interest for 3,200 to be built. We've been waiting, and I'm pretty sure like the higher tax fee is not enjoyable for anybody, but that's the reason why it was placed there. So the other thing I will say, Ron, is to give you congratulations. You have been awarded by FSC First a very distinguished award, and we had kept it quiet because we were waiting for FSC First to announce it. But for those that don't know, oops, there you go. Can you guys hear me? Ron was awarded Community Partner of the Year, and he was the winner for the work that he has done when it comes to collaboration with the various entities. So Ron, congratulations on that award, and we look forward to like now publicly saying it, because we weren't able to say it before. So thank you for your work, and making sure you're trying to fill in the storefronts. And you know what, one of the things I really love a lot is the ability to be able to provide tools for our businesses, whether it's grant writer, whether it's like website building, whether it's like the 5-minute pitch. I've been able to sit in a couple of them, but also talk to the businesses on what the impact has had on them. At the end of the day, we, you know, I like the fact that we haven't just left the businesses on, here you go, fence for yourself, but we're able to provide a lot of custom approach to the things that they need. All right. The rest of the council members cover all my questions, so I'll just leave it at that, and we're definitely eagerly looking for the April 4 presentation. As you can tell, and it's not just the council, but the whole community. All right, so thank you again, Ron. And if you don't have, if you're not on the agenda anymore, how well, okay.
All right, good night, and thank you, everyone.
All right. Okay, so moving on to the next presentation. Presentation discussion on the police department second quarter report. The Mayor Council received a presentation by Chief Linwood Austin. I know, Chief, I usually don't use your first name, but it's usually Chief. Chief is your first name. All right, Chief, so the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you, Mayor, Council, City Manager, and all of our community members that may be viewing. This quarterly report covers the period of October through December of 2022. And we're going to start and talk about some of our initiatives for community policing in an attempt to, continue to build trust and legitimacy in our community. And we did a lot to reach out to our children. October 28th, 2022, we plan and host our first ever trunk or treat at the Nature Center. Officers participated in the setting up a pumpkin patch in the haunted house. Officers passed out candy to children next to their decorated police cruisers. Parents were able to decorate their vehicles as well. One parent from the community and a Mount Rainier police officer each won a cash prize of $100 for the best decorated trunk. Trunk or treat had a major turnout. Kids in the community enjoyed music from the DJ while dancing, and we actually ran out of candy. I had to rush to CVS and get some more candy, but it was for the fun of our children. And so you'll see all these photos from that night. You can continue down, Melissa. And that's more from our trunk or treat. And on November 11th, our city hosted its Veterans Day Appreciation Brunch. Our department honored 3 of our staff in our police department for our services. That's Lieutenant Sims, Corporal Murphy, and me. All of us are veterans of the U.S. Army. Our city also honored veterans throughout our city, and they were all of us were presented with certificates of recognition by Mayor Benitez. We also have Inspector Uck there as well from Code, who's a veteran of the Navy. November 2022, also on that same day, November 11th, Lieutenant Callaway, and Mayor Benitez attended the rededication of the Bladensburg Peace Cross. On December 3rd, the Mount Rainier Police Department planned and hosted its first ever Shop with a Cop event. Students were selected from Thomas Stone Elementary and Mount Rainier Elementary to go on a Christmas shopping with police officers from various agencies in the state of Maryland. We actually had 12 departments that participated with us, and we took 15 children on a shopping spree. Students were given a $100 gift card to do some shopping at Walmart with the police officers. Officers had a chance to build a rapport with the students. While they shopped, they wrapped gifts and ate lunch together. Parents of the students were very thankful to see their children smile and have a good time with the officers in our community. And I want to say that the FOP donated money for gifts. We were also able to get other donations. The city put up the money for the lunch, which we were able to do reimbursement with one of our grants, our community grant for our Explorer children who were there helping as well. Those are some pictures from the event, Shot with a Cop. In December, another part of our community engagement, December the 17th, Lieutenants Paul Sims and David Callaway created a safety and security training for St. John's Church. Leaders and members of the church were able to learn about the importance of safety and awareness while working and attending church. St. John's members were also had a chance to use our scenario-based simulator. Officer Cruz dressed up in a chicken costume to give elementary school children a big laugh and a smile while conducting crossing guard duty. So these are things that we're doing to show, to humanize the badge. We want our community to know that we're a part of them. So anything we can do to bring a smile for our school children is greatly appreciated by all. I'm just going to touch on some of our stats. In parking citations that quarter of October through December, 932 parking citations, 234 traffic stops, which yielded 1,102 citations, 658 warnings. And during that period of time, unfortunately, we had 29 arrests. In our part 2 offenses, you can see all of them here. I want to point out a carjacking that, and I'll talk about that further, that we had actually solved 100% of our carjacking cases that occurred in the past. And this was one that we had, and I'll talk about that when we get to the end, the investigator section. Okay, our investigator section, we had a sexual assault reported. We deemed that case as closed. That was in October, or that was in August of 2027, August 17th of 2022. So some of these are covering times before this, but we were doing a follow-up. That's why it's listed here. But that case is closed. We had a first-degree assault. We did a follow-up on that as well. That case is closed. We had an attempted murder on October 8th. That subject has been arrested, and the status of that case is closed. Another recovered stolen tags, that's open. Theft over $25,000. That subject has been identified, and that case is closed. We can continue to the next page, Melissa. We've had a rash of theft from autos, some breaking and entering. During our month of December, we had a rash, which has continued throughout this year, of thefts of Kias and Hyundais. We've probably seen throughout the region that the culprits are using a USB cable to override the starting mechanism of these vehicles. We've also reached out to Kia and Hyundai in an attempt to get them to donate clubs so we can issue those immobilization clubs to our residents to better assist them in securing. I was in a meeting earlier this evening at Rainier 2, and that matter came up among the seniors there as well. So we do have a few now of those clubs to issue in the community, and we will issue those to residents on a first come, first served basis. You can continue, Melissa. Okay, the carjacking that I said I was going to talk about from earlier, that occurred at the 3300 block of Rhode Island Avenue. We have identified a suspect in that incident, which has been our first carjacking, I believe, of the year, and of the year ending. We are going to issue a warrant. We know that that suspect also was involved later on in a carjacking in Riverdale Park as well. But to our understanding, the subject has been taken out of the area by a parent because he is a juvenile. So we'll be, following up on that. And then you can see we had a few other investigations of property damage, a theft, a first-degree assault. We had a death report, and many of these that were urgent in nature I sent to the mayor and council and city manager, so just so you would be abreast of what was going on, especially that death report that occurred. Speed camera totals. That quarter we issued 14,359 speed camera citations. Total, we'll go down further, Melissa. The total collected for the second quarter, including our collections, is $236,191.56. That's the amount that has gone into our city accounts. police department grants. Most of these grants are recurring grants that I've mentioned in previous quarterly reports. One is a standout to us. If you go down a little bit, Melissa, number 4. That award was pending when I wrote this quarterly report. We have been awarded the grant. It's the Project Safe Neighborhoods Maryland Grant 2023. Let me tell you a little bit about this grant. We originally applied for this grant for $195,000. The U.S. Attorney's Office and the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention and Youth and Victim Services came in and met with me. And after that meeting, they made a decision to give our city their entire state pot for this grant. This grant could have gone to up to 3 cities, but they gave it all to us. And so we'll utilize this grant to upgrade our camera systems throughout the city. We're going to install 13 citywide cameras with artificial intelligence capabilities, meaning license plate readers. And this is for quicker recognition of suspects and those who commit criminal acts in our city to further safeguard our city. This grant is also used for community engagement, such as many of our events that we have, Public Safety Night. It will pay overtime and fringe benefits to our officers. When our officers go out and meet with the churches and have the shop with the cop, any overtime we run up to, I believe, $47,000, it will pay the overtime and fringes for that. Will fund the overtime and fringes for those officers. And the last thing that it does, it allows for community crime fighting initiatives. There's one more thing. So that will pay overtime and fringe benefits to those officers. And we also have a piece where crime analysis and crime analytics, one of our council members had brought this up to me in the past, a better way of gauging our criminal acts and the wards that happen in and the types of events. There's about 42,000 that we'll be putting out an RFP for to find an analysis firm to do that study and continue that study, put that in place that so that we can continue that even after this grant is gone. But hopefully this is a grant we can continue to apply for year after year. So I believe that ends my presentation.
Thank you, Chief. And how many explorers you currently have enrolled? Because I know your number, last time I visited the collect, I think it was Tuesday. It was a lot of them. So you guys have about how many explorers right now?
We have the largest that we've ever had, Mayor. We have 42 explorers. So we're really touching the lives of our young children in a positive way.
And just as a point of reference, they meet every Tuesday. They go through zero information. They go through presentations. It helps with self-esteem. It helps with them being knowledgeable. And they have also volunteer in our events as well. So it's been great to have them volunteer and see them grow. Some of them, we know them for a couple years now. And it's nice to see. Some of them are like at the cuff of like being, done with the program or almost there. But some of them have started like even before they were like old enough to be part of the program. But it's been really positive. All right. So council, I'm going to open the floor. I'm going to go Jared, Valerie, Luke, Jimmy. Jared, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief. No, just really appreciate the work you're doing here. Appreciate all your efforts in keeping this community safe and, taking a community-oriented approach to policing. It's really important, especially in this community. And I really appreciate your dedication and you and your staff's dedication to, to this community and, keeping us safe, especially with the rise in crime and other incidents over the last couple of years. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Valerie?
Yeah, thank you. You guys are doing a lot. So I appreciate all you're doing to keep our community safe. I do like the Shop with a Cop event. I'm hoping that in the future we can have a Walk with a Cop event to school potentially, or some kind of race. So I'm looking forward to talking more about that. I do have a question. I mean, one of the things that I think is really critical to our community is having good communications. And so when I go to the police departments or the website for the city, and I look at the police department, you know, there are certain parts of it that haven't really been updated since 2020, I think. And so I'd like to make sure that we're getting our quarterly reports. You've presented it now tonight. It would be great if tomorrow morning it's up on the website, and that you know, the various data points that you have are there, so that as you're going out there and grant funding and you're doing all this work, that that we're actually communicating that in real time to residents as well, so that people can, you know, keep track of things, and just making sure our city is safe, both internally but also public facing. I think it's important as well. So I think those were all my questions. Thank you. I think that's all I had. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Luke and Jimmy. You're muted, Luke. Great speech. We can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much for this presentation, Chief. A lot of work goes in here, and all the grant money you're bringing into the city just means, you know, stuff that the taxpayers don't have to support, but good work that's being done on their behalf. I do have a question on the camera usage with the artificial intelligence. Just so, you know, residents can be rest assured, you know, these cameras are going to be used, by the way I'm understanding it, for a situation where crime has occurred and you're trying to quickly identify who's there so you can stop criminals doing bad things. This is not Big Brother out there looking at residents or what they're doing. This is a tool you have for fighting crime, and it's going to be used, you know, in that realm. And maybe you can expand on that.
Thank you, Luke. Yes, and thank you so much. You've described it exactly. It's a tool that we'll use at our disposal to quickly apprehend these individuals, because what we've done is looked at past incidences that occurred when we had the theft of autos, the carjackings, the citizen armed robberies, the commercial armed robberies. And we said, if we would have had cameras placed where the best vantage points was to have picked up these individuals and the direction of travel, the make and model, because as you know, the artificial intelligence will actually give us a make and model of one of the companies that we're looking at, because we also are putting out our RFP for this as well. They will actually allow us to program analytics in there as well that will, for instance, if the person fled on foot in a red hoodie, we could put in a red hoodie or people with red garments on, and it would choose that. But definitely it's not Big Brother watching. We don't want the community to feel that way. So it's so very important to let them know that this is truly a tool to help us better apprehend these individuals who want to come in our city and cause harm. And I clearly want to say, and I've said it publicly quite a few times in Chiefs Association meetings and even in forums, that Mount Rainier truly has issues from those from the outside coming into our community. Those juveniles that are committing these thefts and armed robberies and carjackings, we've traced them back to the District of Columbia. And so my job is to safeguard our city, to keep our border strong, to keep our partnership strong, because that's another part of the community, the Project Safe Neighborhoods grants that I didn't speak on, is that we're utilizing partners as well. So you'll see if there are incidences where I need to gather our local chiefs together and their staff, this grant money will pay them to come over into our city and help us for those incidences. And right now, our biggest thing in our city is to retain and recruit police officers. And we'll talk more on that because the competition is tremendous out there. Hyattsville right now, their city, their chief, I was on the phone with him today, he's offering Mount Rainier officers $25,000 to leave us and give them a much higher salary, annual salary. So I'm looking at innovative ways that we can fund this department with use of camera money. So much of what we're doing, right now we have 2.9 million in uncollected speed camera money. This is not a part of this quarterly report, but that's to date. We have 2.9 million that I've now sent to collections to go after. So I want to show that we can sustain many things.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chief.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That cover all of yours, Luke?
Yep. Thank you, Mayor.
Perfect. Jimmy?
Two things. One is, I also want to mention that the chief has had at least 2 meetings with the newly formed Police Review Advisory Board. One to set it up, and 2 to kind of go over the budget, and I want to appreciate that. They're off and running and seem to be, they elected a chairperson, Tony George, and a couple of other officers. So thank you for that. Second thing, I continue to be frustrated though about your police reports are great, but they don't go out to the community. And I know something between you and Pink, you know, I mean, honestly, very few people look at the police Facebook page. I mean, it's there, but you know, people just go to it. So it's more like you have to take your information out to community, show everybody what you're doing. And, you know, the best way for that, I think, to do it, we had the communication announcement page that, I mean, I believe that each of your kind of police reports should be put out by our communications people to the community to see all the great work you're doing. Because when you do those reports, no one really sees them. So that's something maybe you should talk to I would hope you would talk to the communication people to see how we could do a better job at kind of telling the community about all the work you're doing. Because I know you do some on the MRPD police Facebook page, but that's just not something that lots of people look at. But thank you for everything else you're doing.
Okay. Thank you, Jimmy. And one thing I'll be talking about Saturday when we have our budget meeting, I have put a request for funding in. What I've looked at is best practices. How are our other police departments in our region getting out things to their community? And what things have been effective ways of getting out information? So there are apps and innovative ways that will have the community to pretty much sign up for this app, be able to collaborate, report things to us by way of app. We can also share things with our community for what we have going on. And so I think that's going to be, I actually thought it was going to be a lot more than the price that we ended up finding when we did our research. So I think it's going to be reasonable. I know the city of Bowie does it as well. I know some things my mother-in-law would tell me, oh, there's a lockdown here. There's an active shooter possibly in the area. And I'm wondering, how do you know that so quickly? So it's the city of Bowie that's putting that out to all their residents who have elected to be a part of this app. So it's time for us to, use that technology as well. So thank you, Jimmy.
Perfect. Thank you. So Chief, definitely congratulations on that award, the grant award that you received. I mean, it is one of the biggest, if not the biggest award that we have received, especially in that field. So it's due to your a lot of work that you do, because you are also part of the chief associations. You also have like meetings with the, chief assis from the county. You have collaborated, and your team have collaborated with state attorney. I do attend various functions for Ms. Aisha Brayboy, and they speak highly of the work that you've done in solving cases in your team. So I think that that's a way of them showing you, like, here it is. They want to make sure you guys continue growing what they did, but also building momentum within the other chiefs in the region, to try to get them all up to par and becoming a subject matter expert with them as well. I would say that it is a lot of work. Today they had a meeting with the seniors. She was very accessible to them. They gave us a very positive report. But they gave me they asked me to share to Mayor and Council, to the rest of the council, how happy they are with Chief and the work that he's doing for the community, how responsive he is and his team. Every time we have a meeting, he's able to take notes and take action with it and report back to them. So it gives them a sense of like security, and that also at the same time as seniors, they're being heard. And that was very important for them to know that. Let me see, Chief, Also, please extend a thank you to your investigative team. I know this is not part of this report, but they were able to work with the FBI and solved a case and put away a person that was involved in child molestation and an endless amount of other charges as well that as we have seen, having the detective unit, but having a police department that's out in the community has allowed for us to solve our cases, but be very much in touch with the community to hear reports. So definitely look forward to the cameras. I know there was pictures of where they're going to be. I know MRBA, you also be meeting up with them. We're looking forward to having cameras around the area to deter, how do you call it, any things that we see bleeding from DC into the city. And I think that although it might feel like we're a small community, we have to always realize that the DC problems bleeding to our community, and we have to take an approach to it. If not, they continue to grow. So you guys have been very good at activating. And I know your officers are also involved when they have meetings, presentations with the PTOs as well. That's something for both Mount Rainier and Thomas Stone that you guys have also done. And also help with certifications for the CERT team. So it's more than just PD and patrolling, but also making sure that you're working with our committees. So I know we ran out of time, and this is like time out, but I want to make sure to thank you and thank, please extend our thanks to the officers for all the work that they do and being highly involved with the community. And it's a lot, and a big part has to do with your leadership and modeling by example the work that needs to be done. So thank you for that, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, everyone.
And thank you for the camera. I don't know if most people know that you started the program here in Mount Rainier, and we are very happy to see that it is working. I did talk to somebody about how, we were having accidents on Rhode Island like endlessly. Felt like every other week we were having repairs on Rhode Island, and the cameras have helped diverge some of the super fast speeders. There's still people that need to work on it, but we're not being called like every Monday morning, basically, to like see an upside down car. So that definitely has helped. So thank you for that as well. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So moving on to the next item, discussion of proposal city-based home repairs program. This is from ARPA fundings, 15 minutes. Councilmember Woodall will present a proposal to Mayor and Council on city-based home repairs program. Valerie, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Benitez. I would like to propose, I haven't yet put all the building blocks behind it, but I would like to propose, I know we had some funding from ARPA that we have left over still. I would like to propose putting about $150,000 of that funding into a proposal for a city-based home repair program. I'd like to do that starting in FY24, so not like imminently, but give us time to build out the program, figure out with the city administration who might manage that program and how that might work. So I have not put it pen to paper yet. I've been working to work through that. I haven't gotten there yet, but that's basically where I'm at in terms of proposing that. And we can take 15 minutes, we can take 2 more minutes and come back to you guys on hopefully Saturday with a paper, a white paper of some sort that you guys can review.
I'm supportive. Wait until we hear from you on Saturday.
Perfect. Thank you, Jimmy. Luke.
Yeah, Valerie, this is just a huge thing. Really love that you're doing it. I think it's something we've mentioned in the past in passing. It's something that I think I've heard Ophelia Baxter call for an idea. I think I've heard it from, what's her name? Selena. She comes to Green Team meetings every now and again. Jacqueline Norris. She's recommended this as well. So your ability to take this on and propose this is just a really, really great thing. And I'm really looking forward to see the details and supporting it. So thank you.
Jared?
Yeah, thanks, Valerie. I like the idea of this, and I've been noodling on sort of a supplement to the stormwater grant program that we can get to help folks expand expand permeable surfaces or supplement what the county is doing, because often the county program is insufficient. I like the idea. The one thing I would say is that and I like the idea a lot. I would want to go into this with a lens on sort of some sort of AGI cap or something like this. I don't want us to do a program that ends up sort of redistributing ARPA funds to folks that don't necessarily need it if there's not sort of a supplemental public benefit. Like, for example, the county rain check program, although it may flow to folks that might be more upper income, they're also removing permeable surfaces that that impacts the rest of the city when it rains, when rain is flowing off their property instead of down into their property. So I'd want to make sure that the program we put together targets folks, that I generally lower income folks that are homeowners. Those are the folks that are struggling. And I'm sure, we all know neighbors like this that have been here a long time and are struggling, as they've aged in place, are struggling with some of the challenges that go along with having an older home and keeping it in a minimal livable state of good repair. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So I think that even looking into programs like Christmas in April might be able to help us guide us on what it looks like for the income. Because I do think 100,000 for home repairs, one home could swallow up all that amount. So putting caps on how much, up to how much, each will be able to receive and the financial background behind it, it definitely will be beneficial. The only thing I will ask, my question to you is when you're talking about FY24 starting in July, right? You're not talking about calendar year FY24, right?
Yes, correct. FY24.
Oh, thank you. Because I'm more 7 months from now is too long, especially with people that are. The other thing is remember, we have to always keep in mind that we only have the window. It's very small for us to be able to utilize, and all jokes aside, April is here, right? So 4 months, 1/4 of the year is already gone. So before we know it, we're going to be turning in reports showing why is it that we need the extra 2 years to be able to do to be able to complete the programs, right, as part of the ARPA funding that is very specific for how long you can help for, right? So I want to make sure, one, we do it with enough time so that way we're able to award the funds and then people are able to do the work. The other thing is whether we're deciding to put the money up front or do reimbursable. That's something that it will have to be decided. What role would the city take? I definitely will say our advice for us not to overcomplicate it. Brentwood has one. And you could talk to Marcus or Mayor Rosillo, Tremio Lopez about it. I think it's 5 members of between staff and council that meet, and they basically make those decisions so we could get them out of the way as soon as possible. I think they meet either once a week or every other week to get them out. But I commend you on doing this work. I know it's a lot of heavy lifting. But thank you for your leadership on this. And I look forward to seeing the proposal. Anything you need, like I said to you before, let me know. I'm available and definitely could connect you to the other cities that are doing something similar. I know Hyattsville has something similar. I think we might have had something similar so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. But I know we're in good hands. So thank you so much for that. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Anything from the community? If they're still up with us. Jared, is that a new hand or an old hand?
Old hand, sorry.
All right. So council, are we in agreement? We cannot vote here, but do we have a consensus for Valerie to plug in at least $100,000 as a starting point for this program?
I'm sorry, just 150,000.
I would only suggest that as I think about Valerie, that it really is not appropriate not useful for the budget session, since it's ARPA money and we're going to have a busy day, that you should just come back to the next meeting and make a presentation so we can discuss it out of ARPA money.
Sounds good.
So I think, Valerie, what you could do is like send us the documents. If you're ready to have them on Saturday, have them ready on Saturday so we could review them so that we're better prepared for the ARPA discussion, or to at least vote on putting that money aside. Because the next step from here is for us to put in the legislative meeting to approve the 150. That's what we decide to do as a collective, up to 150,000 for this program, as you work the details behind the administration of it. Okay, so I will say that, but the sooner you give it to us in front, the faster we could review it and give any feedback individually to you. Make sure we don't hit reply all as much as we want to. So that way we could start helping formatting or giving any feedback that we have. But I think next step will be to add it to the legislative session for 150,000 for approval for ARPA funding. Okay, good. Council,
I think that makes sense. Yeah, let's just appropriate the money at the next legislative session.
Perfect. Jared, Luke, we're good? Okay, I see Luke thumbs up. Jared?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, good. So Valerie, we'll go ahead and add it to the next legislative session, and the sooner you could send whatever you can send. And like I said, I'm happy to review whatever you need my help with. All right, as much as as little as you need me. All right. All right, perfect. Anything else to add, Valerie? Or are you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much. And definitely that will help a lot of our residents. Okay, moving on to the next. Oh my God, my vision's going. Moving on to the next item, discussion open meetings training for committee members. We will have a discussion upon open meetings training for committee members. So I will say this is something that we had discussed in the past.
Mayor, we at number 8.
Oh. How did that got in there, Valerie?
Just as a point of order, I don't think we actually need to have this conversation. I plan to talk about this at the budget hearing on Saturday. Thank you.
All right, so skip number 8.
I think the next one was. I think the next one was my agenda item, Mayor. But you're willing to speak on it if you want. Just that it came up in the police advisory review board that we should have a what?
Hold on, Jimmy. Can you move it down, Melissa? Because we're number.
No, I'm not looking. What are we at?
Oh, you put discussion implementation for rent stabilization ordinance. That's the next one, Jimmy. And the open meetings number 10. That's where I got confused. I guess she moved and it skipped one. My apologies. All right. Discussion implementation of rent stabilization ordinance. The mayor and council will have a discussion on the implementation of the rent stabilization ordinance. I briefly talked to you guys about it earlier. We are aware that the county had an emergency rent stabilization ordinance that will go into effect on April 17. It got passed by, I think it was 9-1 or something like that for the PG Council, Prince George's Council. And the county executive signed it the next day about, and so April 17 is when it goes to effect. There's been a bit of questions about where the next steps are for us. So I did talk to Elisa about what it looks like. She had asked if we wanted to defer as we're getting our documentation and next steps ready. So what my proposal to you guys is to direct Elisa to write a letter to basically the equivalent to pause our rent stabilization to fall into the county as we get all the documents, and then basically enact it until January 2024, giving us time, one, to get everything we need to get ready, the documents, the papers, get all the information. And that way, our team could be prepared for next year. As you guys know, the licenses, people start paying them starting in January. They will have different dates that they have to pay. So this will be a smoother process for us to be able to do it, but also allow our team to be able to do the administrative work and other documents they need to do. So that way we fall under the 3% for the county. We fall under the county emergency ordinance. And then in January, we enact ours. So that way the residents are still protected under that one, and it does not affect ours in any way. All right, so I'll leave it. I'll leave that as that and I'll open up the floor. I guess I'll start with Jerry. I see your mic open, so go ahead.
I don't have any additional feedback, Mayor.
Okay. Oh, you just had you didn't realize your mic was open. All right. Jimmy?
I actually think that kind of confuses things in some way, because people are asking now about our ordinance and we should try and figure it out. I don't think the difference in caps is that much. Ours is like 3.9, that's 3. But that we really should figure out how we're doing it, and going from one ordinance to another is just going to kind of confuse things, and that we should try and move this ahead. That's my initial reaction, that, you know, whatever we have to do for this thing, and let's get it done. Going from one law to another, I think, will be just more confusing for people.
I think the only way it helps is for our team to have time to get that in order, Jimmy, because they need extra time. That's one of the reasons why it was brought up. All right, so Luke, Valerie?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm wondering if there's a way we could do, because I think the mayor's point about giving our team time is an important one. I'd love for us to start next January. I wonder if there's a way we could say, but then I realize it doesn't help renters then if you wait. I'm just wondering if there's a way we could say, in other words, I think it's important that we don't, I think it's a good point that Jimmy makes about flipping between two pieces. I think that's confusing, and it just doesn't seem clean to me. And I'm not sure if that would have any impact negatively on the city in other ways that we're not thinking of. But I do like the mayor's idea of giving us some time to figure it out. I'm wondering if, do we know when Selena, do you know when they come, or maybe Jimmy, you know this answer because you were looking into it, when they announced the chain CPI figures of the prior year, when that announcement is made by the Department of Labor?
Usually it's in February.
Okay.
Sometimes before they announced it. You know, I can look at when the press release was.
Okay.
But
so, yeah. So if we were to, I don't know. I almost feel like we need to figure out how we're going to implement it, but we need somebody to take the lead on figuring out the timeline of when this chain CPI is announced in February, when notice goes to the apartment owners of how much they can increase their rent, and then when that takes effect. And if we're trying to do, aren't we trying to do on a calendar year basis? Isn't that how I think I remember the conversation? Am I wrong on that?
That's what the law says.
Yeah.
So in other words, whenever it's announced in February for the previous year, or whenever it's announced, that becomes the cap until the following year when it's announced for 2023.
So could they increase rents in January based on the prior year's February announcement?
I don't think so. I think it goes from ferry to ferry, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
So if if it's announced there, that's where it goes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever the last year's announcement goes, it goes for 12 months until the next year's announcement is made.
Okay. So basically, we would just have to give apartment owners notice of this is, so we would say February 23. Let's just play this out for a second. February 23, 60% of CPI is 3.9% or whatever, 3.8%.
For 22, for the previous year.
For the previous year was this. So that means that for 2023, you're allowed to increase rents by 3.9, 3.6, whatever it is, percent. So we would have to give notice to all apartment owners of that. So we would have to have, so Kamali, you need to be taking notes here. We would have to have, we need to know how long it would take for the city staff to get notice out to apartment owners that this is your limit for increasing rent for year 2023. We probably want to know from Alyssa how much time, how much notice, what the notice period is to them. And then we have to do the registry, and then we have to do all the other things. And so that's the, yeah. So I wonder if in my head, the way I'm thinking of it is there is a grid, there's a table like we do for ARPA, and it's every step, and it's who owns it, how long it takes, and we need Kamali to do that for us.
So I would
Sorry.
say, no, you're fine. It's a good brainstorming way to seeing it as you're processing, right? That's the reason why originally I felt we could pause ours, fall into the emergency one to give us time to be able to do a timeline from ferry moving backwards so we know what it looks like when it comes to, because we could, even in talking to Alyssa, as you said, like we could always, decide to not do the charging for this year, right? This calendar year, right? As they're submitting paperwork and we work on that process for how they're supposed to submit it, give them the right information, meet with the landowners, right? And all of that, right? And to do a notice out saying, hey, the CPI comes out in February, send us say before, let's say in December, saying like, hey, just remind you in February, the number comes out. Make sure that you're aware that we'll be sending it out this day and it will go in effect, right? So it will buy us some time to be able to do that, but obviously working from the day it comes out and backwards to be able to fulfill all the steps that you're asking. But what we are in a very unique position right now is like, because we're in an emergency, on April 17th, the emergency will blanket us if we choose to, right? Our residents, this will start the initial conversation of our residents being protected, right? Under the county guidelines, because right now they're also working on getting all their ducks in a row very quickly in the 45 days that they have. Like, because questions that I asked from the county executive were like, we need to make sure we know where people could report. So that way, if we get a call saying, or an email saying, hey, we have a complaint of X, Y, and Z, at this point, instead of the city dealing with it, we'll refer it to where the county is designating these reports to go, and our team will follow up with it. You see what I'm saying? So it gives us that extra time to be able to get the rest of the steps and be able to still be covered. If February is fine, because remember, if it's 12 months, it might fall around the April, March, but the council wants to start having a legislation in front 3 months. So by the 9 months, so that'll put them around January, February. So we'll still be in good stuff. So what Alyssa said, and Alyssa, I'll send the email to Alyssa, and Alyssa could basically explain it to you guys, how we could like send the notice out in order to make sure that we pass ours and fall into the emergency, and more or less what steps we need to take. But when I spoke to her, she said like she feels like, that's a good step to take. So that way we're still protecting our residents as we're cleaning, as we're like working on our steps. And as for confusing, like remember, emergency notices happen, just like we had an emergency notice where people couldn't evict no one. That was the state of the law on it. Had we not had anything, it will fall under that. So people do understand that's the emergency one, but also will allow for them to be able to know, will allow for us to meet and be like, look, we're falling right now under the emergency, but this is the steps that we need from you, and this is how the city is going to function moving forward when it comes to this. So that's what I will say. I think that we don't have to overcomplicate it, but this will give time to staff and us to be able to do exactly what you just said, Luke, and get like the rest of the things that we will need. I am working right now with Tacoma Park to see if we could have a meeting, so that way our team could go and meet with them, so that way they see what a program looks like. That's a lot, many years, ahead of ours, and they definitely have their apartment situation is definitely a lot bigger, but they less get a sense of what it looks like as well firsthand, and the things that they're doing to facilitate the process for them and the things that they have learned. About 4 years ago, I went and I invited Scott to come with me. So he was able to talk to them directly and answer his questions as well. Then they could also like meet with us if we ask them to as well. Okay. So I will put that for food for thought. But let's be aware that on the 17th, that's when the emergency blanket will go in. And I think it's going to be more confusing for them trying to figure out the difference between one and the other than be like, here's all the promotion that's going to blastily, because we have asked for heavily information to go out. And the way the ordinance was written, it's like the apartment owners have to send notices as part of their bill to the residents saying that there's a 3% emergency cap. So that way they are aware. So I think that we're all lined up together with them in the process as we're like, doing what else we need for ours. So that's the reason why the thought came to mind.
I think you convinced me, Mayor. I think it might be wise to run with the counties for the moment. I think now that's where my head's at. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Valerie, do you have a time to speak or no?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely of a mind to run with the counties for now and pause ours until we can sort out the actual implementation. I think that's really key and critical to any good legislation working is knowing how it's going to work before you pass it. I think the other thing is, do you think there's any chance that the county will redo their bill and continue it after the emergency is over?
Well, the People's Council, that's the collective that put this together. They are very, they're pushing forward to having this rent stabilization happening along with other tools. Part of the tools also includes like, funding to help the residents and so on and so on and so on. So right now there's a group that's being put together to work on this. So yeah, they have every intention for rent stabilization to continue in the city. And they have the votes to make it happen. So at this point, they do have it. They just have to work on what are the details on whether or not they're going to have every single vote on as they continue working. And the table is very, very broad between people in support of rent stabilization. IOBA is also there, the realtors organization that they spoke against rent stabilization, right? They're a part of this one, but yeah, at this point, they're moving forward heavily to continue a rent stabilization. What it will look like at the end, we don't know. And that's when we'll be able to study like whether ours offers more protection to our tenants or not, or what it looks like. But I think that at this point, yeah, they're moving forward with it. And in the meeting with the county executive yesterday, she said they're gonna work on studying what it looks like for the county and how to best implement it and what's going to come out after the emergency. So right now we're hearing from all angles, yes, a rent stabilization will continue. It's just a matter of what it will look like. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm definitely in favor of pausing ours while we work through our kinks on our side.
So I hear we all, I think majority of us are in favor. So I will go ahead and ask Alyssa via email, like to put something together so that way we know. And she says like we could enact it in one meeting. So it shouldn't take too long for us to make this happen. Okay. So I'm looking forward to potentially putting it in the next legislative meeting. So that way it's taken care of because I doubt we'll be able to put it in on this Saturday. All right. Yes, good. I know, guys, it's 9:45. We're almost there. Okay?
Are we having a legislative session on Saturday? Or is that just a work session? Or we having?
We're just having a hearing and a work session.
Okay, I thought that's what you said. I'm fine with that. I just think we have to figure out what to do next.
No, I said if we need to have it, but I don't think we need to. I think that we got information to put out. We'll work with our team to get the information out that we have for the community in the meantime to figure out what class we're covering as we like, wait for the 17th to like fall under the county so that we're able to get through it, All right. So moving on to the next item, discussion open meeting training for committee members. The mayor council will have, I already read this. So basically in the past, we have addressed the need to have at least 2 members of committees being trained in open meetings. Jimmy did brought up after a discussion they had at the Police Advisory Board, Jimmy, if I'm correct. And we're over here for us to talk. So Jimmy, I'm gonna give you the floor first. Go ahead.
No, it came up, I think Shivali brought it up in the meeting that somebody had to be trained and no one had been trained, and it was brought up that this is true in a number of committees. So I don't know who, maybe somebody, city manager could figure out whether we could do an online training where we could, one day evening where we could have all one representative from every committee participated, and people from the council who haven't been doing training. So just to work item to see if we can, get that scheduled.
So 2 things, yes, we could work on it. And 2 is an online training. Actually, 2 of us usually have to take it. I believe it's me and Jared who have taken the open meetings act, and then you get like a little certificate that says that the city has met their yearly requirement on behalf of mayor and council. This does not mean the rest of us should not take it. I encourage every single one of you guys to spend those beautiful 45 minutes doing it. But I think that between the CM and the clerk, we could work on arranging the meeting, sharing the link, and get on it. What we will need is like from all the every single one of you guys to work through, as you guys are liaisons to the various committees, to make sure you guys could discuss it in your meeting and follow through to make sure it happens. That's where the help we'll need. The other thing is like, as part of this, it's like we've been working on the efforts to make sure that anybody that applies for a committee submits their resume and application through the city portal. So that way the clerk will have a folder who it is, and it helps us keep track of who the people are in the committee, when they got appointed, and also who's serving in our committees, because we've had like a little bit of trouble trying to like keep up with that at times. So that's 2 of the changes that we're highly pushing to make sure it happens. So that's the other help that we're gonna need for everybody. But Jimmy, yeah, the training, they could do it from home, and it's an online training. Once they're done with all the modules, they get a certificate, and they'll submit the certificate to the city clerk. So that way she'll has it on the file. But council, where are you guys with that? Good, yay, in order for us to move forward with this project? I see Valerie thumbs up, do thumbs up. Jerry, we're good?
Yeah,
Thumbs up
sorry,
as well?
how frequently are we gonna do this? Or is there also a possibility of like some sort of self-directed online training? Just because we always have new committee members coming on all the time.
So the way it works, like we could send them the link and they could fill it out, but we could ask them, hey, can you guys make sure you guys fulfill this obligation within the next, 60 days, right? And we could share the link, and the link at any time of the day they take it. We don't need a code or anything. Literally, you could just go online and take it. It's given out by I think it's the state of the county, but I done a couple of them. But yeah, so they could do it themselves. They don't need us. But I think what we need to establish is a deadline by when they need to be done, ideally. And if the chair and if 2 members do it, so that way, for whatever reason, the chair cannot be there and there's another member, there's at least one person that's able to do open meeting. I could work with them on how to run a meeting and stuff. That's simple if they need to be. But yeah, that's self-taught. So we just need to ask them to ideally complete it by, the next 60 days or whatever. Jimmy, what was your thought on it? Because I think you were talking.
No, I just want to mention not everybody from every committee, just, as Selena says, either 1 or 2 people from each committee has to be. I think legally 1, 2 would be a backup. So it's not like everybody has to go. So I think you do it every year or every 2 years, because you usually is, somebody goes on.
So I usually recommend yearly because it's a fresher up. The city is required to do it yearly. So every year I have to submit a proof that I've taken that certificate. So that was in our records. And at least one of us has to do it. And the other ones, if we take in the Open Meeting Act through MML, it covers it. But I usually turn in the certificate, and I do the one if I've been pretty good at doing both, but if not, at least one of it has it. So it's a refresher. But I think that we could move forward with that. I could get you guys the link and everything. And then if you guys could make sure you guys could help us on making sure we have the proper emails for the chairs. And If you guys could also bring it up in the meetings when you guys are liaison stuff, so that way they're aware that we are moving forward with this. We'll get you, I'll work with Melissa to get you the information for this, okay? Deadline's who to submit, and submit is gonna be to Melissa because she's our clerk, so legally, she's part of the things that is under her scope of work. Okay, yes? Good?
Good.
So, perfect. Okay, so we'll work with you guys. So Melissa, I'll touch bases with you to get this information on, okay? Melissa, I know you're here because you're moving the
Okay,
scroller.
Mayor.
I know you're here, Melissa. So moving on to the next one. Discussion on solar panels for the city buildings. I know, Luke, you asked to bring this back. I know, like I requested some of the information ago. I think we need to figure out what we want to do. Was it going to be all or some? But what steps are we moving forward? So, Luke, go ahead and have the floor. If
No,
there's something
I'd
you
like
want
to ask,
add to this.
before Luke starts, I'd like to ask Luke and anybody else on the agenda items if there's anything we can table to the next session.
We're almost done, Jim. Have this and the approval of the minutes. I think that there was an ARPA discussion, but we could like move that to the next meeting because I think the big ARPA subject that we touched was going to be Valerie's. What? So 7, 8, 9. Yeah, because at 9:30. Yeah, so we could wrap this up in the next like 15 minutes because we have a closed session following this. All right, so Luke, do you want to add something in the solar panels, or you want to table it for a different meeting?
I was just going to flag for folks, we had the prices that we were quoted at for putting solar panels on all the city properties. And I want to say it was like $400-some thousand. Kamali, can you correct that? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's about $460,000 to $500,000.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out there for folks. I know it's going to be a tighter budget this year than most years. I know we still don't have any money in the state budget for Potts Hall next year based on the email that our lobbyist sent us this week. So just wondering what we want to do with this piece. Maybe it makes sense to table it until we know we have the money we need for Potts Hall. But something maybe we could table it until Potts Hall is done, so we know we can put solar panels on that building as well. But didn't want to make sure. Wanted to see where everybody else was. I mean, I think for my part, probably wait until Potts Hall done. Wait until we know what our other funding is. Or have Mr. Kamali go after a grant to help us do the $400,000, and maybe we just leave it at that. So that's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Luke. Anybody else? Valerie, Jarrett?
Yeah, I mean, there should be some funding somewhere for solar that we could go after outside of ARPA potentially, or other funds. So I would definitely look into that a little further.
Yeah, guys, sorry, Selena.
Go ahead, Jen. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in the Inflation Reduction Act that's going to EPA, specifically targeted around community solar. I'm happy to, Mr. Kamali, sit down with you guys, go through every single thing that's percolating and what the timing is, because I have been tracking that both for this and for my day job. So let's look for other funding first before we tap into our internal funds.
So I'm exactly where you guys are at, and I would say definitely talk to Hyattsville because I believe they just put solar panels in their buildings. So let's figure out what they use, how much it costs, if they cost them anything, and if they got a grant, what grant they received so we could apply it. And the other thing at hand would be like, ideally we'll get it for our buildings, but if we cannot get them for all, then we could get a grant to start with like public works. That'd probably be a good place to start because that's a lot of roof in there. Okay, so, but I will definitely, I'm where you guys are at. Let's look for grants to get that done. But definitely, Kamali, can you reach out to Hyattsville and figure out how did they funded theirs? I'll see if I talk to the mayor as well to figure out what they did. And if there's a grant out there we could utilize, I would say let's utilize that before we put money on it. But I would say do not remove it from the ARPA conversation, so that we have a reminder that we need to discuss it moving forward, even if it's just there, we're not doing nothing with it right now. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. I will look into it and have Bill to get in touch with Hyattsville or any other city in the vicinity and see how we can apply for that.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Melissa, can you put the agenda, please? So the next one was ARPA discussion. Can we go ahead and table that for the next meeting, everyone? Good? Because I don't think we had nothing to talk about that one. So next one is presentation of the minutes for February 21st, February 28th, and March 7th. You guys have received them. If you guys need to make any edits, please submit them to Melissa within the next week. So that way she has time, she and her team has time to like put them together or make any edits as necessary, okay? So moving on to item number 14, proposed to go into closed session according to the Annotated Code of Maryland, subsection 305B, subsection 7 and 9, to consult with counsel, obtain legal advice, and number 9, to conduct collective bargaining negotiations or consider matters that are related to the negotiations. I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session. And just as a reminder, we do have our other meeting that we haven't come back from recess. So if worse comes to push and something needs to happen, it is, it was there. So we also need to close that one out. We need to, okay? So just be aware. All right, can I have a motion to go into closed session for reasons 9 and 7?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Objections, abstentions? Hearing none, we are going to be moving into the closed session. Melissa, can you send us the closed session link so we have it in top? And somebody, can you please, Kamali and Melissa, can you guys text Alyssa to let her know we're going to closed session right now?
I'll do that.
All right, thank you. All right. Thank you guys so much. And if we do not see you back here, we will see you this Saturday, bright and early for a budget hearing and a budget work session. All right.
Question, Mayor.
Yes.
If you're coming back to the special legislative meeting, we need to be there. So how would we know?
We will text you if we need to come back to it. And I will text you about halfway through the meeting to figure out if we're doing anything, so you guys are aware, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Jared and Pink, for the work and for being here. All right, okay, let's move on to just gonna motion to like, so we came back from closed session officially. And our vice mayor will be giving the report of our closed session summary on our next scheduled meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn the work session?
I move to adjourn the work session.
All right, I heard a move and a second. Any discussion? Objections, abstentions? The work session comes to an end. Can I have a motion to go back from recess to the legislative meeting, please?
So moved.
Second.
We probably moved and second to go back to the legislative session from recess. Can I have a motion now to adjourn the legislative meeting?
So moved.
It's been
Second.
probably moved and second. Any discussion? Objections, abstentions? Hearing none. We have closed the closed session, closed the work session, go back from recess to legislation, and close the legislation. So we have no meetings open. All right, see you guys Saturday, bright and
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kamali. Thank you,
You should
Jared.
just sleep there. Where are you gonna be?
I know, I'm telling Jared that we should just sleep over.
I told you, get a bagger. You never listen to me, right? See, this is why. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you guys so much and have a good night, okay? See you guys.
Melissa, thank you, Jared, and have a good night, everybody.